That's not right.
That's the wrong photo.
That is not the movie we're talking
Fuck
about.
this movie.
Yeah.
And on to the next.
Yeah.
Welcome to Fuck This Movie. I am one of your hosts, Dustin Holler. To my right, the man that we call JB. He's too old to be cool. John Brown. Everybody calls him JB.
Everybody.
Nobody calls him John Brown.
I'm just now finding out his name is John.
Yeah.
Right.
To my left, the man who watched everything, Mr. Reese Samweiler. And we're going to get right into it. We got 2 glorious movies to talk about. And we normally talk about 45 minutes worth of other shit before we get to those. So I'm just going to throw it out there. What have you guys been watching?
Well, I got to jump in. I have a very important update about last week's film.
Oh.
Do you both remember roughly
Hold on,
your
Reese.
guesses
Hold on,
were
Reese.
for
Wait
how
a minute.
much sex was on screen for the film The Handmaiden?
Mike is a solid 45 minutes.
Solid 45.
Well,
We're
okay.
We're going by time?
like actual,
Time.
like, what would be considered
Screen
sex
time.
of screen time sex?
And I'll go ahead. I'll count the bathtub scene. We can
Count the
count it.
bathtub scene. I'm saying at least 45, 50 minutes.
Okay.
I don't think it's that much. I think it's more just like how like unapologetic and explicit the sex was more.
It's probably,
than-
so, I don't know, I guess tentatively probably 30 minutes.
No,
at
no, no.
least.
You said your
Okay,
piece.
all right, I did.
Dustin, you want to put a number on it?
How long is the movie?
I think it was 2 hours and 25 minutes.
I'm pretty solid for 45. I'm sticking to that.
I'm gonna say 17 minutes.
17 minutes.
That is egregious.
Okay.
right, what do
Obviously,
you got?
I know the answer now, so I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but last week, listen to the episode. I did say my guess was that there was a significantly less than 25 minutes of sex on screen.
Significantly less.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
What do we got?
the bathtub scene, I counted like as soon as a finger goes in the mouth. That's when I started counting the bathtub scene.
Oh, so you actually rewatched this and then?
I mean, I
with
just
the
fast
fucking
forwarded through it.
stopwatch.
But yeah, I got the
Okay.
time codes if you want to.
Nice. This is sweet.
Okay.
I like this.
1 minute and 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Is the bathtub scene really?
Yep.
Oh,
Now, not
man.
the whole bathtub scene, just
Right,
the
right.
thumb in the mouth
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
The first
So much longer.
the first sex scene, which is before the big reveal, the first big reveal,
Yeah.
is 3 minutes and 5 seconds long. Again, I counted
That's
as
a long sex
as
scene.
like
though.
basically when somebody like the first time they kiss, that's when I started the clock,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I ended
That's
it.
in the, in the
no,
bedroom,
cuts to the
right?
next
When
scene.
she's like,
Yes.
I just want to
"Hell."
throw that like for 3 dudes watching the film together in a basement. That's a long ass sex
Yes.
scene.
Well,
Yes.
everything felt pretty fucking long.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
pretty long.
Then later in the second act, when we return to that sex scene, but it's much longer,
Yeah.
that scene is 4 minutes and 10 seconds long.
Okay.
And I will admit, this was a shock to me. The final sex scene, the one like at the end of the movie, they're on the boat. Because that's another thing. Counting the bathtub scene, there's only 4 sex scenes.
Wait, the end of the movie was that the one that ended in scissoring?
Yes.
That was the end
With
of
the
the movie?
bells, yeah.
Okay.
And
No, one of the bells was a separate scene.
I think they did the bells twice, don't they? In the
The last scene.
well, they
finished
scissor
with-
in
I've
2
seen
different
the movie
scenes.
once.
I think the final scene is the one with the bells. Yeah.
Yeah, the final scene is one of
yeah,
the bells,
okay,
but
right.
yeah.
That scene is 2 minutes and 35 seconds long.
There's no fucking.
I will admit, even I thought that scene
There's
was like
no
at
way
least
that
5
was 2
minutes.
minutes, dude. Crazy.
So the total amount of sex in the movie is 11 minutes.
That's insane.
And I
Because
rounded
That
up
was pretty
to 11.
close.
It was
It
like,
does not. It does not feel like that when you watch it. It is. I mean, I guess that's a credit to the filmmaking. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
feel like
I mean,
that long,
I'll
but-
admit it's a little bit different watching an extended lesbian sex scene with 2 guys in the room.
It was just.
It's just like, okay,
I don't know, man. It felt like so much more than that. So much more than that. Because it was so. I mean, really, like it overpowered everything else. Like to me, all the focus on sex like overpowered all the filmmaking and all the story.
Well,
It really did.
so I don't want to gang up on anybody. I don't want to pick a side, but I'm not denying Dustin's claims he made last week that somebody in the podcast is a bit of a prude.
Dude, I'm not a fucking prude. Jesus
I
Christ.
did say that about John, but honestly, that movie was a bit much for me.
It was a lot, dude. I am in no way a fucking prude. Not to any degree.
I was going to do this at the end, but I'm just going to throw it out there since we're on the subject.
Yeah.
You guys watch House of the Dragon?
No.
You know what it is, though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's the prequel to Game of Thrones.
The Game of the Thrones.
The Game of the Thrones.
Yeah, the Game of the Thrones spinoff, the first one. This week's...
Yeah, your mic was turned off. It was muted for a second, so I jumped in as quick as I could.
Yeah.
That's last week's episode. You can hear.
Swear to God,
you can hear all about it.
I'm counting the finger in the mouth.
All right, so House of the Dragon.
Yes, House of the Dragon.
For nobody in this room except for me, but to any listeners who happen to catch Sunday's episode, you got a special surprise. You got to see something that none of us had ever seen in a non-pornographic film, or basically something you've never seen in a non-pornographic film. I showed this to John earlier. I'm going to show this to you now, Reese. This is a screenshot from the movie. It's going to be very obvious what part that Google decided to blur.
Okay.
But this is the scene from the episode.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we got literal cock in mouth.
You got penetration on TV.
We have literal cock in mouth. Now, watching it live, I was a little shocked. And my first thought was, that's a really large cock. I don't think it's real. That's probably how they got around this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but I saw a cock going in a mouth.
I believe roughly like 80% of the time you see a dick in a movie, it's fake.
Yeah.
It's a fake dick.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
That's insane.
It is
You
insane.
can't show that in like softcore porn.
And it is. And setting the scene, there's a character. I don't want to say who it is. I don't want to ruin anything. Like, a lot of people haven't seen the episode yet or whatever. But there's a character that is searching for someone in a whorehouse. And so, like, they're just kind of going from room to room. And that's just like, they just open the door and boom, somebody's sucking a dick right in front of you. And then just like, oh, nobody in this room, and go to the next one. And it's just like, wow.
They're just up in the level on what's...
They are. What's I found it
shocking
to be quite
in TV.
Interesting. And I never thought I'd see the day. You know?
It's pretty crazy. It's a pretty crazy precedent.
I thought you were going to say like an open vagina or something. I didn't think I would see actual
that's
penetration.
All we have left.
Yeah.
That's all we have left.
So I guess, I'll admit, I guess I stand corrected, but I swear to God, there's so much more time than that.
It feels like more. It's because those scenes are the longest part of the movie. Like a 4-minute sex scene is actually kind of ridiculous.
It is pretty. That's as far as
Yeah.
sex scenes go. That's a very long sex scene.
Well, I stand corrected. But
and there's a lot of foreplay, right?
Prude, I'm not a goddamn prude.
There's a lot of foreplay leading up to these sex scenes. There's a lot.
There's
like cuddling
also
and
the whole fucking. There's so much tension, and that's probably what.
Oh yeah,
to,
the sexual tension is
to
constant.
just like make you zone in on these scenes and kind of like just get, because it makes them so overpowering is the amount of tension that you're swimming through the entire fucking time.
I will say that's also not counting, because I don't count them as sex scenes, but that's not counting her reading the stories and stuff.
Yeah,
and
those aren't
similarly
sex
uncomfortable.
scenes, but it's a lot of tension there.
Yeah.
As far as like sex scenes runtime, it's a low percentage. But as far as sex in general, I feel like it's half the film. At least, like
it felt like it. It
like
felt like
the
half
film
the
was
film.
all about it.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Anyway,
we got that figured out.
All right, now on to this week. So what have you guys been watching this week
right,
that is unrelated to
go for
what
it,
we
Reese.
watched last week?
You want to go first, John?
I don't have much, man. Really, I watched a handful of things. It's been a pretty stressful week or two, so my mind's been everywhere. But the one thing I have watched is I picked back up on Preacher because Shudder picked it up, and so that's most of what I've been
I
watching.
love that series.
It's
it's
really
not
fucking
new
good.
episodes, right?
No. I missed at least 2 seasons. So we watched the first full season, and we're about 3 episodes into the second season. And yeah, it's fucking fantastic. It's just really, really good. Cool concept. Just super great characters, super lovable characters across the board.
The 3 leads. They have
dude,
great
Cassidy's
chemistry.
So well cast for
Cassidy's
those 3
the
leads.
shit.
Cassidy
I love
is
that
like
guy.
one of the best casting in like
Dude,
history.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
and the chick, like, where did she come from?
Yeah,
I've only seen her in a couple other things, but that was definitely my first exposure to her.
Yeah. So I started watching skipping ahead a little bit. I forgot to write this down, but I started watching the Apple TV Presumed Innocence, which is based on a book, which also was made into a movie.
Yeah. The Jake Gyllenhaal's in it.
Yeah,
right?
Jake Gyllenhaal is the lead, and she plays his wife. The same actress plays his wife, and it's really the only other thing I've seen her in.
Yeah.
She got like a really sexy accent too, like
Right.
And like I believe she's British, right?
oh really? Okay.
Well,
Well, she's playing.
She's definitely not Southern like she plays.
She's
in
got
Preacher,
the Southern
but her
accent
accent's
down.
perfect.
Yeah.
No, because she does it again in Presumed Innocent. It's
yeah?
it's very much that same kind of
No, I would very much like to see her play a different role because she kills it in Preacher as the like super sassy like tough chick, and I'd like to see her do some other stuff as well.
I recommend Presumed Innocent either as the film from the 80s or might have been early 90s. I think it was like 80s, but
It's Harrison
or
Ford,
this
right?
new series. It's Harrison Ford. My only, I don't know, having not finished it, we're week to week with it, but I've seen the movie, so I'm wondering if they've changed the ending for people like me, or if I'm just going to be disappointed that I'm not surprised at the end. You know, like
I mean, it's based on the book, so
Yeah.
if they're going to be an accurate adaptation.
but anyway,
Yeah,
continue.
so Preacher. If you haven't seen it, I'm super excited to get back into it and pick up. I think I probably got upon the rewatch. I think I made it about halfway through the second season because things have been pretty familiar, but it's all starting to get pretty fresh for me. But it's a fantastic production, great idea. I love the concept. I love that he's looking for God. He just gets full-on confirmation that God's just not there.
Yeah.
He's just checked out. Now he's, mid-season 2, God's, he's digging through New Orleans because God's on a quest for jazz, apparently. And that's just super fucking fun.
I can promise you this, John. As you progress through the series and get closer to the end, Christians start to hate it more and more.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I mean, they do like to hate things, those Christians.
They do.
The level of
No offense to
sacrilege
anybody
just kind
out
of
there.
amplifies with each season.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, it's just it's a pleasure to watch. It's great stuff for sure. Yeah, it's super well cast. Cassidy just takes it for me, man. He's like the best homie ever. Like, I want a vampire homie like that. I'm like, come on.
Oh,
man.
let's go find you a dead
I love
body.
the design for that vampire too.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, he has to be,
Yeah.
can be out during the day. Like, no, he just needs like
just
have
wears
an
a hat.
umbrella. Yeah, like, it's
And I
great.
read the graphic novel, and like he, for me, of the three of them, is the one that like captured the character the best.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
There was one thing that I didn't mention on our last episode, which is something that we've all seen before, but I watched it with the wife. Did you rewatch A Baby Driver? Just fucking movie's fucking perfect, man. Like, it's so good. It's so good. Every time I watch it, I'm just like amazed by it. How well it captures just the vibe that it's going for, the use of music, how every single thing is perfectly on time, blows me away every time. It's good fucking shit.
Yeah.
I think the only other thing that I can
I
recall that I
also love
watched.
that film.
Yeah, I mean it's
I
pretty
love
fucking
all
hard
of
to argue.
Edgar Wright stuff.
Yeah. The only other thing I can think that I watched was I think it was Dead Calm with Sam Neill and Nicole Kidman about them being stuck on a boat with a psychotic Billy Zane, or Nicole Kidman stuck on a boat with a psychotic Billy Zane.
Yeah, I remember that movie. It's been a while.
It's fine.
It's
fine. Good payoff. Like
It's
seeing
like Cape Fear, but like
on a boat.
not as good.
Yeah, right.
Well, Cape Fear also
It's on a
kind of
boat.
on a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was all right. Like it was not bad. Like I had kind of forgotten that Billy Zane like existed ever, and so I was like, oh yeah, that guy. But all in all, though,
just-
Remember
saw
that movie
him.
where Billy Zane was a good guy?
no.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
Still
he
waiting
was
for that one.
the character was like.
Not exactly
so
a
the bit
leading
is,
man.
Like, Sam Neill, they find this boat floating, and he goes out there and he finds Billy Zane, and he like brings him back to his boat, and then he goes back to the boat, and like goes to the boat and finds like fucking like severed head and shit. And when he's on their boat, he never seems that crazy. But now there's a good payoff for like, it's the classic. How they finally like take him down and like fucking put him in the water, and all is happy again, and yada yada. And then, of course, he pops back up at the last minute like every bad guy in a thriller horror movie does. And pretty satisfying scene where Sam Neill just like pops the fuck up, grabs a flare gun, and just fucking blasts him in the face. And I'm like, all right, yeah, that's pretty satisfying.
That'll do it.
So, yeah, that was pretty much it for me.
Nice.
Of all the things I can recall. But yeah, definitely watch Preacher, though, for anybody that hasn't.
I'm sorry. I just got distracted because I just saw Billy Zane in something that was like a 0 budget movie, but he was there was like no one recognizable in the slightest, but Billy Zane was in it. I can't remember what it was.
No one can remember.
Billy Zane is a strange man.
He is indeed. What else you got, Reese?
Yeah, I'll have to finish this important task later.
Yeah, you should, because otherwise we just have dead air, and that's annoying.
So after we briefly talked about it at the end of last week's episode, as something that was playing in theaters that week, new release I'd never heard of called Thelma. It's a comedy. I'd say action comedy by the description, but honestly, it's just a straight up comedy, and it's really good. Honestly, June Squibb plays the main character. She is a 93-year-old actor playing a 93-year-old woman in like a very real scenario where she gets like scammed out of like $10,000. And no one wants to bother with it. Like, just leave it alone. You know, you're an old senile woman. Just try not, we're going to put you in a home because you're too much trouble now.
You're going to die anyway.
And then she watches a Mission Impossible movie and gets inspired by how old and like still like diligent and powerful Tom Cruise is. So she decides, fuck it, I'm going to get this money back. And
I want to see this now.
You have to see it. Honestly,
it sounds great.
It's like, as far as like a blind watch can go, it is like best case scenario. I was like cackling. There is just so much like really funny moments in it. You'll recognize like a ton of people in it because it's a lot of little character actors and stuff. But they're all like really good. The guy who played Shaft in the original Shaft movies, he's in it, and this was actually his last movie before he died earlier this year. Yeah, if you can go to the theaters, go see this movie. Support this movie. I have to imagine this movie was made for like, $1 million or something. And it was just a great time.
Nice. Yeah, sounds good to me.
I watched Wild Things, the Kevin Bacon.
Oh, shit.
Didn't get enough porn last week.
Yeah, he needs some more gratuitous nudity.
It had such a reputation, as being such a horny movie. I will say, I feel like we get like one of these a year where like the reputation is it's so horny. I do think this was significantly more horny than the horny movie we get this year of Challengers, which I love Challengers.
Right. Yeah.
Wild Things is so much more horny.
It's
than
pretty
Challengers.
much. No, Wild Things is definitely a sock drawer movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
It is.
Even the cover box.
Yeah. You actually get more boob than tooth from what's her name?
Yeah.
Denise
Richards.
Denise Richards, yeah.
She actually doesn't smile as much as she's
just tits.
Topless.
Yeah, she's really bad.
She is really bad. She was born for those kinds of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly thought the movie was kind of like really goofy but very fun. It felt like a 90s take on an old noir movie. Ridiculous.
It's been such it's been so long since I've seen that movie.
I thought it was really fun.
Didn't Kevin Bacon show his junk or something?
Yeah, just for like a shower scene too.
Yeah.
You get Kevin Bacon.
Famously, you do see Kevin Bacon's dick in this movie. Yeah.
Bacon doll.
Bacon doll. So I had a couple friends over. We couldn't decide what to watch, so they were wanting to help me continue on my goal of watching all the Best Picture winners. So we chose to watch The Deer Hunter. Never seen it before.
Great one. Long movie.
Very long.
I haven't seen that one yet myself.
One of the most emotionally demented war movies I've seen. There are some scenes I've only seen the movie twice, and the last time has been over 20 years ago. But what I really remember is the Russian roulette scenes,
Yeah.
because this is like, there are a lot of scenes in movies where people are playing Russian roulette. Never to this like extravagance,
Yeah.
to where it's
Or like piles of dead bodies.
Shit. Like
Yeah.
I mean, they're
deep.
twisting the chamber between each shot, and they're basically just setting up, making these POWs play with each other, and they're just
Right.
taking bets,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like so, yeah, just like murdering people for sport.
Yeah, I honestly didn't really know anything about the movie besides a couple famous images, like one of the movie posters with Robert De Niro having a gun to his head, and I would have guessed that the gun to the head thing was like one scene and just came
Right.
iconic. I didn't realize like half the movie is Russian roulette.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But yeah, I really liked it. I find it so interesting that
I actually think Russian roulette would have been a better title for the movie.
honestly, yeah, or
Right.
maybe Vietnamese.
Right.
I find it so interesting that I feel like the majority of movies about the Vietnam War, the majority of the movie does not take place like during at the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this, I would say maybe 40 minutes of this movie is actual like Vietnam warfare.
And
what's-
it's pushing 4 hours, right? It's like three plus.
actually, I think it's like right on the money 3.
Oh, is it right on the money 3? Okay.
Why does it always seem so hard to find on Letterboxd?
It's right under the title. Like it's literally like,
I'm on the app. The app is different.
yeah.
Details. Nope.
yeah,
not
don't go
there.
to the app. The app is trash. The app's always trash.
I only use it on the iPad.
The website version is always better than the app. This isn't about like Letterbox. This is about life.
I
This
totally agree
is
with
a
Letterboxd,
life
though.
lesson that you need
Yeah.
to learn.
They
People
for
out
some
there,
reason change up the location of everything on the Letterboxd app, so you can't find anything if you're used to using it on the website, which I
if I want to watch a YouTube video that I watched 6 weeks ago, I don't go to the app. I'll never find it on there. If I go to the fucking website, I will find
Apps
exactly what I was looking
apps are
for.
terrible.
Yeah. That
Queen
being
Kaylin.
said,
Hey.
the-
Hello. You person?
hey, the Deer Hunter is 3 hours 3 minutes long, but
That's a grip.
it's a long 3 hours.
It is a long 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that kind of like psychological intensity. For
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, as just discussed, certain kinds of intensity make things seem way longer than they are.
Indeed.
But like Full Metal Jacket, you don't get to Vietnam for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
What's the other really big
I've
one?
always thought of Full
Platoon
Metal
takes
Jacket
place
as
fully
being
in
kind of two movies in one.
Yeah.
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 It really is. Like the first half is a completely different movie than what you get in the second half. And sadly, most people only watch the first half and then they just kind of tune out. But
Yeah.
really, both halves are really, really
Oh
good.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. I mean, then it is a great embodiment of that
People like the
whole
first half because it's funny.
experience.
Well,
You
it's
know, and
interesting. It's more like
yeah.
as far as war movies, you don't see a lot of war movies taking place at a boot camp.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's that. But no, yeah, I mean you need to watch the whole movie.
Yeah.
The next Vietnam movie I will watch will definitely be Apocalypse Now. Actually, we were supposed to watch Apocalypse Now this night. But
Oh,
one of the other friends couldn't make it, so we
I love
pushed
that movie. I think the absolute best war double feature you could possibly do is Apocalypse Now with Platoon.
Yeah.
And they're so similar as movies. They're both about Vietnam. They both have a sheen
Yeah.
and basically
A
the
certain
same
sheen to 'em.
lead role.
Yeah.
They're going through different actions, but literally the way that each film is told from the point of the view of the Sheen is identical.
Sheen.
The Sheen, yeah.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now is a really good film, and also
I'm excited for it. Yeah.
Also, you get Marlon Brando in. Never will you see a guy have so little screen time and such an impact on a film. Like he's barely in it at all. Like actually,
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
barely in it at all, and like he's basically only in the end. But like you get his like voice on a tape recorder, early like that they play
Yeah.
early in the film, and that voice is like fucking bone chilling.
I'm excited. Yeah, the Deer Hunter again. I find it's the amount of these older movies that I think I have like an idea of what it is, And then
Right.
I start watching. I was like, oh, I actually don't know anything about this movie.
Yeah.
Like I know it's about Vietnam. The end.
Right. Yeah.
I rewatched Deadpool 2 in anticipation of the third one. It's like a fine movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's parts I really like. I really like Juggernaut. I like
Yeah.
what they did with that.
Yeah.
But overall, it feels so much like a parody of the first movie. Like
Yeah.
it just feels so much less interesting. I don't know.
I mean, you
It
can
feels
only-
phoned in to
so-
some degree.
You can only do like the fourth wall
Yeah.
bit so much, right? You
The
know,
whole like, wow, isn't it disgusting what's going on right now? Like,
yeah.
I mean, maybe 20, 30, 40 minutes ago.
Yeah. No, it's it's got the Marvel campiness, and it is just what it is at a certain point, and like Ryan Reynolds has made himself to be the guy that does the thing that
Yeah.
is what it is, and like, you know,
I just don't really have a lot of love for Ryan Reynolds.
I've really liked some of the stuff that he's done for sure. The one movie that we did on this podcast, I think, is
Yeah.
a gem for him. I
Yeah.
really like that movie.
And that was 12 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. But no, he's definitely like very willingly and consciously taken himself down a path of just making the same.
I kind of agree.
Fucking
Like
thing.
he's a little one dimensional. I like him, but I think Gosling is the better Ryan.
No, for sure.
Yeah,
No,
for
I mean
sure.
Gosling's like for sure. I mean, it's not even really. There's no debate there at all. I think that Reynolds could have. I think he had more potential than he actualized,
Yeah.
but I think he got comfortable and just like.
He just
Did the
only
thing.
does the one character.
Yeah, no,
now.
he does. Yeah,
Every
absolutely.
single
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I had a big movie party on Saturday, this last Saturday, watching queer films all day in celebration of Pride this month. So it didn't work out as many friends as I wanted, unfortunately. People were just a lot of things fell apart, but I got to watch 6 movies.
Yeah.
3 of them were rewatches, 3 of them were brand new to me. I watched Desert Hearts from 1985. If you really want just a really cute, kind of quaint, romantic comedy drama,
Right.
it's set in Nevada. Apparently, Nevada, not Nevada, but it's a town in Nevada, not Las Vegas.
There are others.
Reno.
Yes,
Yeah.
Reno. Apparently, I don't
The
know
other one.
if it is still to this day, but Reno at one point was like the easiest town in the country to get a divorce in, and so people would just go and
Yeah.
live there for like the legal amount of time you had to get a divorce, and then go home.
I'm from there, but I was too little to know if that was the case.
Yeah, yeah,
Tracks, though. I mean,
John Brown actually
that whole
from Reno.
Yeah, I am from Reno, Nevada.
Yeah.
It's not saying anywhere, but that tracks for just like kind of Nevada
yeah,
as a whole. Is like it's a place where you just kind of like go do some shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's like the reverse Vegas.
Yeah.
You go to Vegas to get married and go here to
Right,
get
yeah.
divorced.
That's interesting.
But as a result, obviously, there a lot of these were women going to here because in the earlier times in America, maybe anytime pre 1990, it was
Right.
pretty hard to do anything as a woman, including getting divorced.
Right.
And so another thing that would happen as a result is you'd end up with a lot of women here that were getting divorced
Yeah.
because they were gay, and so the
There you
movie's
go.
kind of based in
Yeah.
that heart, and there's a
Right.
very lovely and cute little lesbian romance going on.
Right on.
And then I watched. This was a rewatch. I watched Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
That's
It's
quite the name.
It's a musical. It's honestly you would really like it.
Yeah.
It's very punk rock. The music is all really fun. It's John Cameron Mitchell wrote, directed, and starred in. And I don't know if this was a Broadway musical first or became a famous one afterwards. But
Right.
that one is already a favorite of mine.
Right on.
I watched The Watermelon Woman, which, if you remember, I watched a movie called The Watermelon Man earlier this year.
Right.
This doesn't really have any connection except for that the director. It's also directed significantly by the first openly queer black woman
Okay.
to direct a movie, full length movie, and it's kind of like a biopic, kind of fictionalized biopic and documentary, but
Right.
the documentary, she's like researching this unknown black actress from like the 20s that is only known as the Watermelon Woman. And then you find out at the end of the movie that it's all fictional. It's kind of in tribute to all of these actors of that time.
That were not known, and
but yeah,
nobody ever gave a shit. Yeah,
very, very well
that's
done.
Cool. I dig that.
Yeah. I rewatched a documentary called Paris is Burning, about the 1980s like queer and drag scene in New York City. It's a fantastic documentary. Like, even if you're not like particularly interested in the subject, I think it's just one of the most
really well delivered,
just successful. And what a documentary, like a good, like not every documentary, right? Some is like really has like set out to teach you something, right? But as far as a documentary that's like just showing you someone else's life,
right?
It is like you are there with these people, and it's a super short movie. I think it's like 80 minutes long, and you just feel like you've known all of these people by the end of the movie. And the cinematography is well done. I highly recommend this one. I'm sure it's streaming on something, if not the Criterion channel. Next, I watched Freaks. Rewatched Freaks. This is like the fourth time I'd seen it. 1932. Super interesting movie. Have you seen it?
I don't think I've seen the 32 Freaks.
Yeah, a different one.
Yeah.
Or have you seen Freaked?
No, I've seen Freaks, but I saw the one that was like from the 70s. Or shit like that.
Yeah, there's Freaked, which is a super wacky nonsense
comedy.
90s comedy.
With Ted. Is it Ted or Bill?
Fuck, I can't remember which one is
whichever
which.
non-Keanu Reeves Bill or Ted is in it.
Yeah. The only thing I've ever seen.
Freaks is just such a unique movie. Huh?
I think it's Bill.
It is Bill. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah.
Theodore. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
It's a movie that almost all of the actors in it are actual circus freaks from the time, playing not themselves in the movie, but playing circus freaks.
Yeah, their same role, basically.
Yeah, and as a result, you see like people you've never really seen before on screen. Very, very interesting. And they don't even like really like dehumanize them to some extent. You're calling them freaks. They're playing weird little creatures in this movie, but it's not as dehumanizing as you think it would be for a movie featuring disabled and disfigured people from the 1930s.
Well, and so
like Nightmare Alley was kind of dehumanizing. I thought.
That was Nightmare Alley. I learned what a fucking
geek.
Geek. Yeah, it cracks me up every time now I see a Geek Squad commercial. Like, I just want to like Photoshop a fucking like
the person just chomping into a rat.
Yeah, some fucking belligerent, just like derelict ass dude eating a chicken raw. You know.
We need a parody commercial of the Geek Squad where it turns out they're not.
Can you help me with my iPad?
They break
shooting up heroin, eating chickens. Yeah.
We need to start a pest control company called the Geek Squad.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll do something with your rats. We won't tell you what.
No, I mean at a certain point, like the people that were in those positions back then, like that was their livelihood. And I'm sure like all of them considered themselves like professionals. Yeah. You know, like would kind of have to not.
I mean, also it's like in the story in the Buster Scruggs where it's like, yes, this did suck, but like they kind of just had to do this, or else society was gonna throw them in a dumpster.
For sure. I mean, that's where you're at.
It was like fucking survival.
Yeah,
it's not unlike Warwick Davis and what's the guy from Game of Thrones? Danny DeVito, I don't quite put on the same as far as like little people and like these film roles, because I think he's been able to kind of transcend that to an extent. But
he has. But like when you have
Warwick Davis, like if you look at Warwick Davis's like filmography, it's like fucking like
every Star Wars movie,
Ewoks, Leprechaun,
yes,
honestly,
honestly,
it's just like they're kind of typecat, like Willow.
I mean, that's the thing, like
And now we're getting.
What are they gonna do otherwise? Like, and honestly, like in the realm of like being offended in consideration of sensitivities. Like, if I were a dwarf, a little person back then, and somebody was like, I don't know, what could they do other than cast you in that role? Like, make a fucking puppet? Like, I'd be pretty fucking offended. Like, fuck you and your shitty puppet trying to portray us, you know? Like,
in more modern movies, it feels like I feel a little conflicted when it's like that Kristen Stewart Snow White movie where all of the dwarves were dwarf bodies, and then they like CGI'd put famous, more like Nick Frost played one of them.
No, fuck that. Yeah.
It's like, well, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Yeah.
It took some jobs there.
They did. Took our job.
Took some faces, you know. But yeah, Freaks is just a one of a kind movie. Highly recommend it. Go check it out.
I assume this is a silent film.
It's not. No.
1932.
Nope. It's a talkie.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that was
Pretty
like
early.
right at the
Wait,
verging of it, yeah.
All right. I'm trying to figure out where the cutoff. I know the jazz singer was the first talkie.
Yeah, I think it's the cutoff as far as like, was it an option? I think is late 20s. But even then, you'll find some silent films after because obviously it costs more money. Right. Just like, I mean, you'll find movies that were black and white by necessity up until the 60s.
Yeah, for sure.
Jazz Singer, 1927. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last film we watched of the day was the David Bowie. I guess technically it's a documentary called Moon Age Daydream. Came out 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, it's like, it feels a little misleading calling it a documentary because it's not consistently like presenting information. It's like half documentary, half concert movie, half like, put it on your TV while you're tripping movie, but it is like mesmerizing and incredible to watch. And it does just make me appreciate how much of like an incredible person and artist and creator David Bowie was. Like, he just kind of just succeeded at literally every art form he tried. Like, he was just incredible. Highly recommend that one as well. And then this one I just finished yesterday or last night. As I've been continuing on this year, continuing to watch movies that are celebrating significant anniversaries. I hadn't yet watched a movie that was celebrating its 50th anniversary, so I watched The Man with the Golden Gun, the 007 movie.
Is that a Connery or?
This is a Roger Moore.
Okay. It's Have you seen this? So I'm not a huge James Bond guy.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
I've seen probably 5 Bond movies.
I feel like I probably have, but it'd have been so long ago.
I think I've seen like 5 Bond movies. Like my buddy was trying to get me into them when I was a teenager, and so I kind of just watched one at the time with one from everybody who had been Bond or whatever. And I remember Man with the Golden Gun. It was the first one he suggested to me. And I was big into martial arts at the time. And if you've ever seen Enter the Dragon, you don't need to watch Man with the Golden Gun. It's literally just... It's Enter the Dragon without Bruce Lee beating the shit out of people, which is like the most boring movie ever.
So
anyway,
continue. Yeah, well, no, speaking of that exact thing, I've only seen the Daniel Craig Bond films, the 5 most modern ones. Not really had much of an interest in watching the other ones, but I knew someday I'd get around to it.
Right.
So this was like my first non-Daniel Craig James Bond movie.
Okay.
And from watching the Craig movies and being familiar with the Pierce Brosnan ones,
right?
You can tell that the James Bond movies always kind of emulate the action of the time period. That's what's popular.
Yeah.
And so I watched like 40 minutes of this movie. I'm like, I wonder, were there any Bruce Lee movies out around this time?
Yeah.
Have you seen Enter the Dragon?
I have not. I have not seen any Bruce Lee movies.
So literally Enter the Dragon is the exact same story. It's like Boss Man owns an island. The only difference is they kind of throw a little bit of Mortal Kombat in there, where he has like a martial arts tournament on his island, and so that's how he infiltrates the thing
Yeah.
is by going to the island.
I mean, yeah. I like I said, I hadn't even seen any Bruce Lee movies, but I was like something. I'm feeling like there was some very obvious influence here, and so I looked it up. The Big Boss, 1971. The Way of the Dragon, 1972. Fists of Fury, 1972. Enter the Dragon, 1973, and then The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty
Took all the notes.
apparent.
Took all the notes.
It is like the most by the book James Bond movie. Is like every single trope and joke of James Bond is just, he does them like one after another.
Yeah, I think that's probably a lot of the franchise is pretty much that on repeat.
So I'm gonna piss people off.
So if you really like that, then
I think James Bond sucks. Like, I've never seen a James Bond movie that I thought was good. And honestly, every time I'm watching one, I feel like I'm a kid. And they used to have like the TNT movie of the week, which was like a TNT original movie that was, usually starring some twat, like
Billy Zane.
like no, they couldn't get Billy Zane. It was like like the dude that was the retired football player that got 2 movies. Yeah. It was like that guy. So anyway, I've never been a huge fan of those films.
I'm honestly, outside of the Craig movies, I've never been a Bond fan.
I didn't even I remember the first time I saw The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which it's such a fucking crime that they didn't finish the film series and the American versions. But that was the first time I saw Daniel Craig in a non-Bond role, and I was like, oh, so like he's actually good. Okay.
Yeah, spy movies.
I wouldn't have known that just watching a Bond film.
Spy movies are spy movies, man. They're kind of hard to. I think, and we've talked about it before, I think the best kind of spy movie is one that doesn't take it seriously at all, not even a little bit, like the fucking Bullet Train type thing, like you need to just like have fun with it.
I'm gonna throw one out there that I haven't seen in a while, but have you guys ever seen the film If Looks Could Kill, starring Richard Grieco?
I don't think so.
It's a total like Bond spoof from like, I want to say like late 80s, early 90s.
I know.
I remember like it's another one of those. It's probably not gonna blow you away with its fucking Rotten Tomatoes score, but like it's a charming ass little movie.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, I mean,
spoofs.
I think James Bond is kind of the Godzilla of England. Like I think people will always clown on Godzilla to some degree, like, oh, all those cheesy guys in costumes and flying through the air and shit. James Bond is like the exact same thing, just for England.
Yeah,
he does the same thing every movie.
Yeah.
He never loses. Cheesy as shit.
We always they're always there, man. Like
everybody thought that King
that's what the
Kong,
spy movie is.
Yeah, I'm not against the James Bond franchise. I just don't think they're ever very good. Every spy movie is
just some badass guy, and it's kind of just trickle down to just different action heroes, and different genres where there's always like a badass guy. I mean, how many like badass spy chick movies have we had in the last 10 fucking years?
Yeah.
And they're all the same fucking thing, too. It's all just like, oh, it's a badass motherfucker. Doing badass shit with badass stuff, and badass guns, and badass cars. Like, it's all the same fucking thing. Way more people know Kung Fu than you believe they should, like...
I mean,
that's all
the villain in this movie, Christopher Lee, is kind of a pussy because his whole thing is like he's the best shot in the world. He only needs one bullet to kill someone, but then he's constantly using like tricks and like illusions and stuff to like lure people into a trap, so then he can shoot them. It's like, well, you're not that impressive.
Come on, Christopher Lee.
And there is a significant like plot point in this movie that Christopher Lee's character has 3 nipples. Like it comes up a lot.
Weird.
To a point where James Bond wears a fake third nipple to disguise himself as the villain.
Yeah, that's going deep.
Yeah.
That's going deep.
I was like, wow, you guys.
High-tech spy shit there.
This was a good story beat to you, huh?
Yeah.
That'll get you past the door, that fake third nipple. You just flip up your shirt and be like, oh, that checks. Let him in.
Jesus.
And also, James Bond in this movie is a total dick. Like, constantly. At one point, there's a female agent that comes to his room and is like, very excitedly wants to sleep with him, and he's going for it. And then a woman that he's trying to seduce for the mission comes, and so he pushes the agent, into his closet and leaves her there while he fucks the other girl. And then he comes back, presumably like 2 to 3 hours later. Right. She's fallen asleep in the closet. He's like, okay, come on out now. He's like, she says, what time is it? He's like, it's 2 a.m.
Jesus Christ.
Does he fuck her then?
He doesn't. I think she's too tired. Later in the movie, he does, yes.
Oh, okay.
But not in that scene, no. He needs to shower.
James Bond. James Bond's actually kind of the biggest whore in the history of the film industry. Like, he's... it's like at least 2 women in every movie, and there's been like how many movies now? Like 30. It's in the 30s, right?
Yeah, it's like one of the longest running film franchises.
Christ, 60 women. He's. I mean, it's not quite like Gene Simmons territory, but it's pretty obscene.
Yeah, so that's what I've been watching.
All right. How about you, Mr. Holler?
So I also had a 6 movies in one 24-hour period. Ours was not planned out like yours.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't like literally. It's just like you want to just like be lazy and watch movies today, and it's like sure. And so like we both got up early, so this started at like 9 a.m. So we watched 6 movies. It didn't start with a theme, but it turned into a theme later in the evening. So the first movie we watched was PTA and Daniel Day-Lewis film I never saw, Phantom Thread. About a dressmaker and the relationship he gets with this rando that kind of becomes his muse and a lover and then eventual wife. Super fucking weird movie, man.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it's the relationship. Like I still don't get it. You know, he's very particular, a little bit OCD. Likes things his way, doesn't like noise, gets irritated by everyone and everything around him at all times. She gets pissed because she's not getting attention, so she poisons him. He is happy that he survives, not like almost dying, and so like gets really close to her.
Has
and,
that
like, proposes.
What's the syndrome? Nurse, the falling in love with your nurse type of thing.
Yeah, and like, but then it just turns into like a repetitive thing to where at the end, it's like, not to spoil the ending, but like, you know, fast forward 30 seconds if you don't want to hear this, but like, it kind of ends with like, he's just like, I'm fucking sick of you, blah, 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 blah. You just need to poison me again so that we can be good again.
Yeah.
And so like, it ends with her like picking some poison mushrooms and making him an omelet and him knowingly eating a fucking thing that's going to make him be on his deathbed so that his marriage can be whole again.
Yeah.
Fucking super ass weird movie.
Yeah.
Man,
Daniel Day-Lewis is the GOAT though, man.
Some people love to get locked into those weird toxic relationships.
You know what it kind of reminded me of in retrospect after the recent rewatch, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That like
it's got
just kind of admitting like, no, I guess we're kind of just stuck in this cycle. I guess we're game.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I could see that comparison. One notable here is I think Daniel Day-Lewis is just like the GOAT.
Yeah.
But like this is the most Daniel Day-Lewis movie because he actually looks like Daniel Day-Lewis. You know, like every other movie, he's got to put like a shit ton of prosthetics and makeup and he's unrecognizable. You know, like he was the last of Mohicans for God's sake. I mean, but yeah, you really knew who it was. So we followed that up.
Some gorgeous production and set design on that.
Oh, you know, it's
New Year's Eve
an
scene?
incredible film. It's like I love Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
I love it. He's one of my favorite directors, and I put this one off forever because it's about a goddamn dressmaker. Like it's just hard to get up to watch a movie about a dressmaker.
Yeah.
How interesting could this possibly be? Turns out it's really interesting, really entertaining. You'll laugh. You won't cry. You'll be puzzled about why people are such dicks to each other all the time, but it's a fun movie. Everybody should watch it. The next one was my wife's pick, and it wasn't really her pick because it's just like I put it between a few movies, and she chose Molly's Game because my wife's name is Molly, and so we watched Molly's Game.
Nice.
I can't remember the lead actress's name.
Oh yeah.
She's a redhead with huge tits, and that's all this movie really needs her to be.
Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, Jessica Chastain. So basically, this movie is about Jessica Chastain's chest taking a job with this rich asshole, and then as part of the job, as his like secretary / slave, she has to put together a poker night. At which point, he gives her the names of several celebrities and or rich billionaires, whatever, that are part of this thing, so that she can put the game together. She now has this list of names. She turns it into her own poker game, and somehow ends up being indicted for being part of the Russian mafia because the game grows so big that she has multiple factions of Russian mafia in particular games, and they end up using her as the connection point to build a RICO case against this organized crime that she really doesn't have shit to do with other than the fact that she runs these games. Really fucking interesting movie. I put off watching it for a while just because I thought I think the reviews didn't really were kind of hit or miss, you know.
Middling.
Yeah, I thought it was slightly better than what the reviews were.
I think it's the kind of movie where the performances and the characters are more interesting than the story is.
It is, yeah. And honestly, she's more than her chest, and so maybe she should not be just like displaying those on.
Wow,
Yeah.
she was asking for
Put
it.
them
Huh?
away.
Yeah, you know, like tone it down. I mean, I guess it makes sense for the movie. She wants to make tips, and that's how you do it, is with
Hendricks.
tits.
Chris Pre says.
What?
Christina Hendricks.
Christina
Oh
Hendricks.
yeah. See, if you say the
Yeah,
redhead
okay.
with the chest, that's who.
All right. So
everyone
he
should
likes those
think
big
of,
ass
yeah.
porn titties. I see.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
I have a guess of your theme. Or did you see a theme you'd already accidentally done here?
No, we go entirely off the reservation. From
Oh,
here.
okay. I was gonna say, was
So-
it 2017 Oscar
we're
nominees?
we're literally just picking movies. We're just like flipping through and just finding something that looks in like picking movies.
Yeah.
And then this next movie kind of starts the theme.
Okay.
So the third movie we watched was Source Code with
Have you seen it before?
I had never seen it. No, I'd never seen any of these movies before this day.
Oh, cool.
Actually, no. The last one we watched I had seen before, but I remembered almost nothing about.
Yeah.
So Source Code is a sci-fi, and that is the theme. Like we went deep on some sci-fi
Oh, okay.
movies.
So the first two.
Yeah, no, completely unrelated.
I thought you noticed a theme you'd already started.
Yeah, Source Code sci-fi movie got kind of a Groundhog Day theme, but the groundhog part is the same 8 minutes played over and over again.
And it's intentional, like a
Yes, yeah, it's like
a machine of doing it.
yeah, basically government thing finds
Goddamn
it.
government.
Finds that they can take a soldier who's got brainwaves but is basically dead from battle and like put them into this machine and basically put them into alternate realities to kind of not really alter the past but find details from the past that'll help them avoid future.
Right.
In this particular instance, there is a there is a basically terrorist act, and they know that terrorist act is gonna like cause several other terrorist acts, and so like
As they do.
and so like the whole point is to like for this dude to keep playing the eight. He's on a train that blows up, and he just keeps playing the same 8 minutes over and over again, trying to find the person responsible for the bombing
Right.
on the train.
Yeah.
Really cool, interesting idea. Works
You
really
know what
well.
I just thought of? It kind of works as a prequel to Minority Report. Of
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
origins of the
Yeah,
machine
no,
they have
yeah,
in the
definitely.
Minority Report.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has that kind of vibe to it for sure. As far as the technology and stuff,
Yeah.
just and definitely has the early, early ages of that.
Yeah.
So then we kind of go down this thing where we're doing things that
Have you seen Source Code?
Not yet.
I really like it. I think
Yeah.
it's
No,
kind of
I
an
definitely wanna
underrated,
watch it. Yeah,
like
I will
small
try to check it out.
scale sci-fi movie. I mean, scale, but like as far as
Yeah.
the setting, it's almost
Yeah.
exclusively set on this train.
yeah.
Yeah, I really like.
No,
Source
it's
Code.
one that I'm a fan
Yeah,
of. Those
and
kinds
to
of
call it Groundhog
intentions.
Day is a little deceiving. It's not like he keeps waking up and like the first day he wakes up and doesn't know what the fuck's going on. because he's a soldier who has basically almost died in battle. Like they're keeping him alive with brainwaves, but they're putting his consciousness into somebody else's body who actually died on this train in like a different reality every time. And it's I don't know, it's super well done.
Yeah, no, I would check it out for sure.
It's interesting.
Jake Gyllenhaal, man, does a great performance.
Yeah, I mean I'm in on that. Yeah.
So
sure.
When we chose the source code, I had it down between three. I was kind of buzzing around. I had it between three sci-fi movies. I was like, I want to watch a sci-fi movie, and we just ended up watching all three of them. So the next one we watched was Predestination.
Oh,
with Ethan Hawke.
Also, some like slight time travel stuff.
It
going
is
on.
a time travel thing where it's hard for me to go too deep on this one because the spoilers are kind of damning for the film, honestly.
Yeah.
But basically, it's the dude is like a temporal agent, who kind of is basically just traveling through time to deal with particular crimes that mostly involve like time fucking with things.
Isn't he also trying to stop a terrorist?
He's also it's kind of the same movie, right? So it is like it's not at all, but it
goddamn terror.
But it kind of is, and hence this is how a theme was born.
Yeah.
So once we watch source code, then you immediately watch Predestination. It's like, well, they're saying that if you like Predestination, that you'll probably like Looper, and it's like, okay.
Did you not?
You've never seen Looper?
I saw Looper.
Okay.
My wife had seen Looper, but like it's
I really like Looper. I'd
only seen Looper once, and I didn't really remember it that well. And as I started watching Looper, I realized that I really didn't remember that much about the movie at all.
I think it's one of Bruce Willis's best things.
Oh, by far, yeah.
He has done in at the end of his career.
Maybe his last good movie. I don't know.
And I'm a fucking huge fanatic for Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I fucking love Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, I do think it's kind of a bummer. He kind of fell off in some ways. Like, I don't know what he's been up to.
Yeah, must have other shit.
This film, they kind of went out of their way to make him look kind of haggard. Like they tried to make him look like Bruce Willis. You know, I noticed that.
I think it was a little more distracting. Like, I don't think it doesn't add enough to his appearance that I go like, whoa, he really does look.
They just make him look older than what he.
Yeah, no, he just looks kind of. For me, I just kind of wrote it off as like he's just haggard.
Yeah. It was like the lip prosthetic though, especially.
It was definitely distracting for me. If I had never seen Joseph Gordon-Levitt in a movie before, I probably would have been fine with it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then we were on they were just kind of on the sci-fi thing, and so I watched Upgrade, low budget film on Netflix. There's so much to love about this movie, man.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
The movie was made with less than $3 million, and this director
really
knew how to spread that money, man.
Yeah.
You're talking.
Because there are some scenes too where there is like technology at hand, like there's some sci-fi shit happening, and
the effects are amazing.
Looks very good.
The effects are all very, very good.
I mean, like, even just like the quality, like the filmmaking and the cinematography and camera work.
The fight scenes were a lot of fun.
Now, what you do end up with, you've basically never heard of anybody in the movie. It's a bunch of nobodies.
You've definitely seen the lead in some stuff. Like, he was in Prometheus, but I always think, oh, it's off-brand Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
like,
no, we were talking about that. Like, he looks like five different guys.
Yeah,
He reminds me of a combination of Tom Hardy and the dude who was the guy from Westworld and Punisher, like the guy who was like the bad guy in Punisher. Can't remember his name.
Oh, the TV show.
The Punisher TV show.
Finished.
His name was like Billy something. I don't know what his actual actor name was, but anyway, he's kind of a combination of those two guys. If you take those two guys and splice them together, he's got all the mannerisms. But Tom Hardy was the first one that came to mind.
He looks like a The fucking Dollar General version of Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
So those were the 6 movies we watched in one day. A couple
Good
other things
day.
I want to throw.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, a couple other things I want to throw in here. I was able to finish the series, 2 series. Got to finish Dark Matter. I talked about it. I know after I watched the first episode, I talked about it on podcast here, and said basically this is how it's going to have to go, and it just went in an entirely different manner than what I thought it was going to go, which is so refreshing. They ended it. The ending had closure to where if they never make another season, it's still good, and if they make more seasons, it's going to be fantastic.
Nice.
What was this on?
Well,
This is
Apple
Jennifer
TV.
Connelly.
Apple TV, Jennifer Connelly, Joel Edgerton, a lot of Joel Edgerton. Joel Edgerton plays like a million different characters, and they're all the same dude. But another kind of alternate reality.
I don't really
Kinda
like
deal.
him that much
Yeah.
as an actor.
Okay, I like him.
I love Jennifer Connelly, so like
yeah.
if she's got a lot of screen time, maybe I'll go ahead and give it a try.
I would say give this one a go. You might change your. He does a phenomenal job in this series just because he plays alternate versions of himself, and I think that's kind of hard when
Yeah.
like you have to like do slight variations and still let me know which one I'm seeing.
But not make it like
Yeah,
annoyingly obvious.
yeah, because it can get kind of muddied down if you don't know which one you're watching, and sometimes it's intentional.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's intentional. They don't want you to know which one you're watching, you know, and it's kind of cool the way they did it. But I kind of love that alternate reality shit anyway, and it plays
I
really
do
well.
too.
Jennifer Connelly's awesome. Really, all of the actors in the series are really good. But that one ended really well, and then season 2 of Interview with the Vampire.
I really want to catch back up on that.
Fucking fantastic, man. Like Molly keeps. We're gonna have to watch the movie soon. Molly doesn't remember the movie all that well. The series is so much better than the movie. Like it's just so much more content.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's generally if you take, a bunch of literature and try to make it a movie, and then, or if you can make it a series, the series is going to be superior because
and
you
so-
can just give it more room to breathe.
So basically, if you've seen the movie Interview with the Vampire, the first 2 seasons are the movie Interview with the Vampire. So it takes I want to say there were like 8 episodes in it. So it takes 16 hours to do what they did in 2.
Yeah.
And it basically ends in the same place, and you get a lot of additional shit that you didn't get. And then also to follow that up, it has been renewed for a 3rd season. You
Nice.
ask Interview with the Vampire, they caught up with the book. Interview with the Vampire was book 1 of what is a 13-book series.
Yeah.
And so they've already come out and said that the season 3 will be based around book 2, which was called The Vampire Lestat. So they're just going to go on to the next one, which
Nice.
is awesome. So
Yeah.
continue it.
There's probably a lot of books, right?
Yeah.
13 books so
shit
far.
ton.
So like I
Shit
mean,
ton.
That's 26 seasons.
yeah, they can go forever.
The longest running television drama of all time.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, cool.
All right, so that brings us to this week's double feature.
It was double feature. Last
Hell
minute
yeah.
double feature. We decided.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think we even mentioned on the podcast.
like actually, when I wrote it down,
We did,
I just
yeah.
wrote
Yeah.
the title of one movie, and then I had to write in another one when I was doing my notes
Yeah.
today.
We kind of talked about it a little bit in passing, and like, you know what? Let's just go for it. They fit well enough together to agree. They're very different things, but they kind of fit because like what's happening in Rhinestone is exactly the kind of shit that makes the things that happen in a God Bless America happen.
They shit on country music quite a few times in the God Bless America.
Well, so that notwithstanding, more what I'm talking about is just simply like, so, all right, so these movies, we got Rhinestone, we got God Bless America. Rhinestone is super campy ham and cheese sandwich movie about fucking Dolly Parton playing some country, up and coming country star herself. She's not actually a star in the movie, trying to make something of some Mirando dude.
As part of a bet with her
Yeah.
manager
It's,
to get out of her contract.
Country music, She's All That. Or not She's All That. No, yeah, She's All That? Yeah, She's All That. The 90s rom-com.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Fair
with
enough.
with country music.
Trying to
so,
turn
but-
some nerd into an it girl.
Yes.
Yeah. So more what I'm talking
Yes,
about
she's
here
all
is
that.
just like, because it's not just like the bit isn't that she's trying to make him a country star. The bit is she's trying to make him perform a country song
Yeah.
to free up her contract. So it's just all about like
To basically just pretend to be a country
Prepping-
star for
like
one.
prepping him
Which-
for one performance.
exactly, which exposes what it really is just illuminating the complete bullshit that all of like popular media is. Because like, oh yeah, I can make this guy a fucking look like a star in 2 weeks and make
Yeah.
him win this dumb little contest. Just pretty much what God Bless America
That's
is,
true.
is really the trigger
That's
on.
true.
It's
They
like,
both feature a contest.
yeah, the amount of like it's just bullshit. Like what makes what happens in God Bless America happen is this kind of shit that we're seeing in Rhinestone. But yeah, it was we've talked about Rhinestone for a long time. Dustin brought it up. I never even fucking heard of it. And
I had not heard of it.
I was immediately intrigued.
I brought it up on
because
podcast, I believe.
Yeah,
I don't even
yeah.
know what brought it up, but
the idea of Sylvester Stallone singing country, like, I like, man, he could kind of work for that. Now, what we got was not at all what I would have expected of
No.
Sylvester Stallone singing country or trying to sing country. Like, I'm like, oh man, with his goofy fucking lip thing, like, he could kind of make a country thing work, you know? But like, that's not what we got. We got a way over the top, wacky, like, just super intense performance. by
really
him that I-
goofy. It's
I
a
never-
goofy movie.
Dude, goofy as shit. He's
And-
goofier than shit.
and
He's the
like-
goofiest I've ever seen him.
Like, I don't think it's completely unintentional too. I feel like the movie was
like bad on purpose.
Yeah.
like I don't think Sylvester Stallone was trying to be like a cool guy. I think he was trying to be an idiot.
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
he
for
was.
sure,
100%.
for sure, yeah.
100%.
Might be like, you know, I do like the Rocky movies, and he's great in certain Rocky movies. This might be, outside of Rocky, this might be my favorite Sylvester Stallone performance.
Yeah.
I think he was like totally an idiot, but like so like lovable.
No,
in how
it was
stupid and full of himself he was.
it was super fun and you could not expect what you get, I think, out of this.
No.
From anything, especially from the time too. Like when this
Yeah.
movie came out, like if you're familiar with Sylvester Stallone, like you probably would have been like fucking flabbergasted by what
Yeah.
you got out
Yeah.
of this. you
And
know?
that's the thing that JB brought up. That's John Brown.
For all you newbies.
Because we were talking about it off air, and because to me it's Rocky. Like when I think Sylvester Stallone,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm like that's where he won his Oscar. Yeah, he had, man has a statue.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was for writing, but I mean, like that performance was so good, and he played the performance a million times. He was always good playing that performance. But this one was different because he actually was playing somebody with a little bit more character instead of just like
Yeah.
like down
the
and
guy.
out bum.
Yeah.
You know, like like he actually was like a kind of an outgoing personality in the film. You
Yeah.
know, and that's just not him. You know?
He's also
Yeah.
playing second lead to Dolly, which I feel like
Yeah.
really helps. I mean, he definitely has more screen time, but I feel
Yeah.
like Dolly's like the main character. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that really benefits him too, of
Yeah.
not having the
Yeah.
sole focus be on him.
For sure.
And honestly, at the time, you think about it, like the fact that this was unsuccessful, and this is one of the biggest flops ever. Like,
I'm sure it was.
I think this movie, people are unfair.
but it seems like such a no-brainer, right? Like you got it's 1984. You got Sylvester Stallone and Dolly Parton. You got two of the biggest stars on the planet.
this
Putting them together in the
yeah.
same movie, like so some of the stats on this, if you're a reviews person, Letterboxd on a scale of 5 gives it a 2.5.
that's just so criminal to me.
IMDb on a scale of 10 gives it a 4.0. Rotten
That's
Tomatoes,
lower.
19%.
That's bullshit. People don't know what they have. That is
I
no
agree.
fair.
I agree because I gotta say, John picked this movie based of me talking about it from watching it as a kid. I was a little nervous because I remembered it not being like a great movie, even though I remember
Well,
being entertained.
I'll say
I was just like,
in-
man, I'm gonna get like heckled after this. And
No.
like honestly, I was kind of surprised with how well it held up.
Well, no,
And-
I went in with like the lowest of expectations. Like, this is going to be a really stupid movie, but we're going to have a good laugh. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. This fucking rules. I
Yeah,
love this
no, it's
movie.
actually just a lot of fun. Like I fully expected to be just kind of like a painful fucking
Yeah.
like attempt at him like actually trying to sing country music, and that's the thing. Like he's not through the movie really trying to
No.
sing country music really all that much.
He
at all.
only like seriously sings, like not for a punchline, like once or twice.
yeah. At the in the last like finale performance too, like it's really not country is what gets the crowd to turn around for him. You know, like.
Yeah.
It's
That
this
song is the
weird-
most country song that he sings.
It is,
though.
but his performance is not
Yeah.
country at all.
Yeah.
You know, but no, it was I enjoyed it a lot more than I figured I would. It's not at all what I expected whatsoever.
So the two highlights in the film for me are first off,
The
Richard
left side of
Farns-
Dolly's chest and the right side of Dolly's chest. Am I right?
I knew that's what you would say. Richard Farnsworth like literally steals every scene that he's in.
Yeah,
He is hilarious. Like I think the biggest laughs came from Richard Farnsworth lines. They're so subtle but goddamn funny. And then the musical number of Drinkenstein
Frankenstein is pretty sweet, man.
is pretty iconic. And honestly, when I first brought up this movie, that's the thing that stuck with me is Drinkenstein.
Yeah.
I remember that forever.
pretty
and the
sweet
ridiculous
minute and a half.
outfit he was wearing when he was singing.
Oh
it.
yeah, well his ridiculousness. Like I showed Alicia the clip from the YouTube video of the clip of that movie, and like how he starts the song, like his facial expression before he starts to sing is like the stupidest fucking thing ever. No, it's
I need like a punk rock cover of this song or something.
no, dude, it would be
You know
sweet.
who owns the rights? Dude, he is the credit. He has got the writing credit for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That song is written by Sylvester Stallone.
he needs to give it over to
It's-
me first and the Gimme Gimmes for a fucking sweet cover. It'd be awesome.
That's a stone
Which,
cold
don't let that throw you
classic.
off. This man has an Oscar for writing. So if there's one thing that you should know but probably don't, is that Sylvester Stallone is good at writing shit.
Because I think there's a lot of the jokes like hit in this movie. I
Yeah.
think a lot of the real big laugh points, you know, it's not from like, oh my god, this is so corny. It's like that's a funny line.
Dude, the 2.5 out of 5, 4.0 out of 10, 19% out of 100. Those scores are awful for any review of
Yeah,
anything.
for sure.
And I think that they should be more like low 60s. This is
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
is
no, I
this is a classic you know, this is a popcorn flick.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's meant to be fun. It ended up being fun. It's those are pretty cruel assessments of it. And I think taking that out of context to a degree, maybe, but like just as a fun thing for the sake of fun,
Yeah.
it's pretty fun. You know, it delivers pretty well. Like the side of Sylvester Stallone, I never would have thought you could ever see.
No.
You know, and I've never been like a Dolly Parton person. Of course, I'm not super into country music, any kind of pop country music, and like we've talked about like the Prince movie Purple Rain. It's like I watched Purple Rain, I'm like, how the fuck did anybody like Prince? I watched this and I'm like, oh, I understand why people like Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody liked Prince.
I've
from
never
that
really
movie.
listened to Dolly Parton. I've just as a person though, she seems like a fucking chill hang. Like she
Yeah.
seems like a cool
I
person.
grew up on Dolly Parton. One of my mom's favorites. She loves that old ass country shit.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I listened to Dolly Parton on vinyl growing up. Wasn't my choice, but I did, and I saw basically every movie that she was
Right.
ever in up through the 80s. So that's why this
Yeah.
one was on my radar,
Right.
and that's because of my mom. But
She's a fucking fantastic vocalist for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like the legend of her tits is, I mean,
yeah,
they
they are iconic.
are obnoxious. They are fucking obnoxious. Like watching the movie, I'm like, oh, that's why she has big hair. To maybe draw them up over here, because
Yeah.
like, man, you
balance
just
it out, not be so middle heavy.
exactly, dude. Like you can't help but like you're gonna like any human creature, and you just like, oh, like sorry,
No.
just put these down here. Like, goddamn, I'm gonna wear a box or
It's a
something.
lot of big in a small package.
Yeah. No, actually, Ghost was talking about a time that she was like at a parade down where he used to live, and he like was, 20 feet from her, and he was like, "Man, yeah, she is nothing but a tiny thing that's just tits and hair. That's all she is. Tits and hair and a good voice."
Indeed.
Yeah.
It was a super fun movie.
I think it is. By the way, this is. I think I've already mentioned it to you guys, but this is from 1984. So this year is the 40th anniversary of Rhinestone.
Oh,
Perfect time to
shit.
watch it.
Nice.
Very nice.
A lot of perfect timing today.
And it came out the year before Rocky 4, which I feel like is the most like macho butch of the Rocky movies.
Rocky 4 is the most 80s, right? So Rocky 4 came out in that time where like we were just through the Cold War, and so like it was that point in time where the bad guy was just Russian in every movie.
Yeah.
I
mean, like
it's still
so it was
kinda
just like
it's
well,
still lingering.
Rocky
a bit
4
too,
he hasn't fought a Russian yet.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I think we can like blame like modern, like just absolute macho, beefy Sylvester Stallone from like that point on till now on the bad reviews of this movie. I think people scared him into being sensitive.
I just want to back up
You
and
can't
say
do anything else, Sylvester.
I would never take away any of the first 4 Rocky movies. I think that
I'm good with Rocky 1.
I think
and 2.
Rocky 1
Stop.
is the best Rocky movie. Rocky 2 is the same as the first one, just with a different ending.
Yeah.
And then Rocky 3 starts to be, is more of a franchise movie. And then everyone after that is a franchise movie. The first 4 to me are fine where they're at. I get by on nostalgia. Number 3, you get Mr. T, who is fucking iconic in his role as Clubber Lang.
Yeah.
And then
Good old Mr.
number
T.
4, we get Dolph Lundgren, who would be nothing if it was not for this. This is the performance of his career as the villain, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, fucking Dolph, man.
I would be happy if we get Rocky 2, then nothing for 30 years, and then we get the Creed trilogy. I would be happy with that. I don't
Here's a
any of the other Rockies.
trivia question I used to ask back in the day because I used to watch a lot of Rocky. And this is up through Rocky 5 because I know they did some bullshit after that.
Rocky
Jesus.
Balboa.
So many.
Rocky 1 through 5.
So many.
We have the characters of Rocky, his wife, his brother-in-law, and
His coach.
those 3.
Yeah.
Those 3. Those are the only. Those are 3 of the 4 people that are in the first 5 Rockies.
Yeah.
The 4th person, there's one other person that's literally in every single one of those first 5. You'd never guess who it is. Apollo Creed's manager.
Oh, I was gonna say. Oh yeah, because he comes back
Yes.
in like 4.
Random dude's
and starts to
manager
just
is literally
train.
in every fucking Rocky movie.
Yeah.
The dude that he was associated with, not in every Rocky movie.
Just a minute.
Well, he dies in one of them.
Yeah, he does die.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This is much better than any of the Rocky. Well, besides like the
Yeah.
first Rocky movie.
Now, I mean, so my favorite Stallone movie is probably actually one of my favorite like dystopian movies, and it's Demolition Man.
That is a very fun
Also,
movie.
my
is a fun
favorite
movie.
and probably the best thing Wesley Snipes ever did.
I saw that movie in the theater.
Dude, it's a goddamn blast. That movie's a
That's very
riot.
funny.
I love it to death.
That feels like almost a parody of like that kind of future. That feels like what was the Jean-Claude Van Damme one where he's like frozen and they
Yeah.
bring him back to fight
Yeah.
modern war or something.
Right.
Universal Soldier,
Yeah.
Time Cop.
Yeah, but he's
Something
like
like that.
I don't
well,
know.
Universal
It-
Soldier's like he's a cyborg though.
Yeah, but like
that's another one. Cyborg. All his
Demolition
movies are
Man.
the same.
No, John
feels almost like a
terrible.
parody of those
Yeah.
kind of movies and
But
some
dude,
of the future
fun,
stuff
the
that makes
fun
up.
thing is with
Wesley Snipes
Demolition
has a lot
Man
of fun
is
in
like
those
a lot of the
movies. Yeah.
shit is like super on the nose. Like a lot of it's just so very on the nose
Yeah.
for our modern state of things.
I'll never
but-
know what they're doing with those 3 seashells.
No one ever will.
How do you wipe your ass with
Yeah,
3
no, I
seashells?
would
don't
say
know.
this is definitely like that's my favorite Stallone movie. This
Can we all? Do we all think
will
this
be
is
in my top 5.
This is in
for
our
sure.
top 5 Stallone movies.
I put it. I'll put it there. For him.
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
Although I was as a kid, I definitely grew up with some Stallone. I got down on some Stallone.
I mean, yeah, I've seen all of the Rocky movies at least twice.
I did watch the last Rambo, and
I haven't seen that.
I'll
seen
say
the
I
first
haven't
three.
seen any Rambo's
it's
yet.
not as bad as you would think it is, and he's actually kind of terrifying.
Reese, I think
yeah?
you should watch.
He's actually kind of terrifying.
Actually, okay, yeah, I'll say the First Blood might be actually the next Vietnam War movie I watch because that's been on my watch list for a long time.
First Blood. So no Rambo movie is actually a Vietnam War movie. Just so you know.
Well, but I mean, like, it's about Vietnam. Right?
It is
He's coming
Vietnam.
home from Vietnam, isn't he?
He's home from Vietnam.
Yeah.
Like, literally. So the first one
He
is
is
the
a
best.
raw fucking deal on the first one.
The first one
Yeah.
is the best, and it is literally a man that just came home from Vietnam and like
The entire
basically
town
gets
just
assaulted
shits on him.
by the police.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
mean, and
terrible,
honestly,
really.
it's very relevant. He's basically a black man
Yeah.
in New York, and he gets pulled over by the
Yeah.
NYPD. It's not New York; it's some small town Hicksville thing.
Yeah.
But similar thing, like
No, his character gets fucking fucked.
yeah, no, he just
Hard.
gets fucked over for being a drifter in a small town, and the dude has just been in the shit for so long that he just basically like goes all out and like declares war on the
It's
entire
really a great
fucking
revenge
town. It's
against cops
crazy.
movie because like the cops are like the biggest dirtbags that just like make this situation happen, and it's like, well, you asked for it, motherfuckers. Cops being dicks. This is what you get.
I think that it's one of the great action films.
Yeah.
First Blood is such a great action film. Now it goes out of control after that because like
Yeah, gets.
it's like what he does in First Blood. It's like it's kind of believable, and then the second movie is called Rambo: First Blood 2. And that's where he literally takes on the entire country of Vietnam by himself, basically.
Yeah.
And that one, it's like, okay, this is getting a little stupid now.
They get super. Dude, those '80s movies got just super ridiculous. What was the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger? It's many, but he's like Commando,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
Commando. Like the end of fucking
Oh.
Commando is like the most ridiculous
Oh.
fucking thing in the world.
No,
dude.
no, no. So the Rambo First Blood 2. He's supposed to go like do some intel, like take some pictures or something
Thank you, sir.
of where the POWs are held, and instead he fucking rescues every POW that's still in Vietnam
Yeah.
by himself. It's fucking crazy.
But yeah, I was pretty satisfied with this movie.
And also, there is a line where he's talking to this really sweet, the closest thing he ever has to a love interest in any Rambo movie. This really sweet Vietnam chick, and she's asking him why he's doing this job and all this. And there's this line where he's like, they're like, why would they send you by yourself to do all this? And he's like, because I'm expendable. And she's like, she doesn't speak very good English. She's like, I don't know what that means. And he's like trying to explain to her what expendable means. He's like, it's kind of like if like somebody invites you to a party and you don't show up and nobody notices. And that's the best way you can explain it to her. And I just found it interesting because literally that conversation is what sparked an entire franchise called The Expendables.
Yeah,
Where it's literally
Yeah,
just
no,
jammed
that is-
every
that is-
80s action
that
star
is
into
interesting for sure.
one film.
Yeah.
Now this Rhinestone was fun for sure. And also too, like there's some very like one of the things I took away from watching the movie is the really genuine chemistry between Dolly Parton and Sylvester Stallone. Like
Yeah.
watching it, I'm like, man, these guys are just like having
They,
a
they
great
were two
time.
of the biggest stars on the planet when this movie was
Dude,
made.
they
when you
were
think
just
about
having
it.
a
I
great
mean,
time. It was just
Yeah.
so natural and fluid and fun. So, but yeah, this
Very
movie's sweet.
lovable.
It's fucking hammy. It's cheesy. It's goofy. It's,
Yeah,
it's fucking
like I
popcorn.
feel like the writing kind of like the reason the bad scores are there is because the writing kind of failed them. Like we didn't need the scene where like she's trying to teach him how to walk like a cowboy.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
some
yeah.
of the scenes are definitely
There's like a whole
ridiculous.
montage right after they get to the farm
Yeah.
of doing.
Which, of
I,
course-
I
mindless
do
shit.
love the country people though. Like when he first comes up and has an interaction with like country folk and like
Yeah,
and they're like he's kind of slow witted, isn't he?
yeah, yeah. We have
Everyone.
we have
thinks
like
he is
3 or
that.
4 instances in the first like 20 minutes of the film that Dolly Parton has huge tits and he's really slow-witted. Like they really just bang that in there. He's
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous. She's
Well,
got
well, he's almost as dumb as your tits are
I'd say-
big.
yeah,
One of my-
that could have been a line. That should have been a line.
One of my favorite
Ugh.
scenes is the very beginning when he's driving the taxi and he's got this Asian family in the back that don't speak a lick of English, and he's talking to him the whole time, being like really cheery.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, he's talking, it's really excited, like screams, and like the tone of every Asian face in the back seat just like goes like really cold, like we got a psycho driving us around. Right? You know, like this guy's unhinged.
No, it's the most animated you'll ever see Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Ever, probably.
I do. Yeah, I think they could easily, because it's the weirdest thing. I could have sworn this movie was like 95 minutes long. I thought we looked at it like 3 times.
Right.
I think we talked about this. And then like an hour into the movie, I'm like, this feels like it's got more than 30 minutes left. And sure enough, it's about 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And you could easily cut probably about 20 minutes.
No, there's a good grip of cuttable for sure.
And tighten it up a bit. But I don't think I ever really felt the length that much.
No, it's fun. If you know what it is, if you have real expectations of what this film is going in, I think you should just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like if you like 80s nostalgia and you like fun bullshit and you just want to see Sylvester Stallone like you've never seen him, like this is the movie for you. So
yeah.
It's fun for sure. But yeah, I thought it was a good throw in on the pick that I made of God Bless America. Just because like I don't know, it was like kind of imagined this, it might be as quaint as it was, and God Bless America for what it is pretty quaint and endearing for a man pushed too far homicidal fucking spree movie as it can.
A bit late. Do we want the letterbox descriptions of both these movies?
Yes. Let's get it.
So we'll start obviously with the one we just finished talking about, Rhinestone, directed by Bob Clark. That was another reason it
Bob
came
Clark,
up multiple times.
Yep, for sure.
The description is, after a big-time country singer brags that she can turn anybody into a country singing star, she's out to prove she can live up to her talk when she recruits a cab driver as a country singer. He's scheduled to sing at a big-time NYC country nightclub, and she puts her ample powers to work in preparing her protege.
That is a completely misleading description of what actually happened in the movie.
That's also like 2 sentences. That's very run-on.
No, it's very long. It's not catchy, and it doesn't represent anything.
But if you thought that was bad, this is the tagline. She's bet everything, and we mean everything, that she can turn this New York cabbie into an overnight sensation.
It's just the same thing.
Well,
he has other things in mind. It's not done yet. He has other things in mind, but he's never had a trainer like this one.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's actually better than that other description. At least that's fucking.
If that was the description, that would be good.
So you get a synopsis, and then the tagline is just a shorter synopsis.
Yeah. No, that's a more accurate synopsis than the synopsis.
Yeah.
Definitely not a tagline. For sure.
Yeah. What a movie. Okay. And now, God Bless America.
I would imagine this would have a good tagline because it's so simple, but maybe not.
2011, directed by Bobcat Goldthwait, as we talked about last week, which is very interesting.
Super interesting.
Fed up with the...
Just a little bit.
Dude, I would never expect this movie from this guy.
Oh, God Bless America! I press a button. I'm gonna shoot you now.
I feel like your Bobcat's more Muppet.
yeah.
Isn't he just?
I need to watch a couple.
Bobcat Grover.
Bobcat. Is he in the Police Academy movies?
He is in the Police Academy
I need
movies.
to freshen up on hearing his voice. Do you think he's used that voice on like directing?
I bet,
That's how he directs.
That
would be fucking.
I remember the movie Burglar with him and Whoopi Goldberg, where he was like unhinged. That was like Bobcat unhinged.
Now in this take, can you act like you're really mad?
You have to randomly yell.
Start out really nice and be like,
just scream like, "What we got?" No, it's a good take. I'll just scream sometimes.
Okay. Fed up with the cruelty and stupidity of American culture, an unlikely duo goes on a killing spree, killing reality TV stars, bigots, and others they find repugnant. And the tagline is, taking out the trash, one jerk at a time.
Yeah.
It's okay. It could be, touched up a bit.
It could be snazzier, but it's accurate.
It's accurate.
It's not too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably one of the better taglines in the history of taglines.
The tagline should be snazzier for sure.
I like
find
the
Martin
one
good.
jerk
I
at a
mean,
time.
really, if you would have
makes
just stopped at
sense.
taking out the trash, I'd probably been like,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually really good.
Yes, actually, yeah.
just stop there.
You just beat every movie tagline.
I think they
Taking
added the
out the
one jerk at a
trash.
time because you could take if it was just taking out the trash that could be taken a little like
Yeah.
It's
Targeted,
more like minute
Sure.
work.
yeah,
Sure.
but one jerk at a time is just going a little too much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No, it's
My
it's
my
quite
biggest
the
my
movie.
biggest criticism was with the word jerk.
Yeah.
jerk,
Yeah.
one jerk at a time.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever called somebody a jerk in my life.
Yeah.
What a jerk!
Oh,
I mean, I
jerk.
have
Let's put a
described people
bullet
as
in this
jerk
jerk's
off.
head.
I've called people jerk off. And
Let's
jerk.
take this jerk out back and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Guys, in this scene, the jerk you're gonna kill.
Oh shit! All right. Yeah, it's quite a movie. I hadn't seen it since it came out, but I just fell in love with it. I mean, I'm a sucker for this movie anyway. I
Yeah.
have fucking the silhouette of Michael Douglas from Falling Down tattooed hugely on my arm, so I obviously love this idea
Yeah,
in film and art. And this one is.
and this is why I was shocked you just watched Taxi Driver for the first time.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that's what it was. I
Yeah,
had
that's
no idea.
insane
I
to
had
me.
never
Yeah.
heard anything about it.
It's like the first one.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure, and that's why I would like to get it tattooed on me as well if
Yeah.
I could. But this one, this to me is my favorite and the best
Of those three, or just this genre?
of the genre. I
Yeah.
think. I mean, maybe I've seen one or two others, but I haven't. Seen
Yeah, it's like a weird little
it,
subgenre.
it is for sure, but I think it's my favorite because now. So one thing I'll say on the rewatch, on the third rewatch with you guys, because I just watched it with the family, I could see somebody calling it preachy
Mm-hmm.
to a degree because there's a shit ton of just direct dialogue
Yeah,
about what the movie's about.
monologues. And,
There is, and it is very
and,
like
well, back in my day.
we're talking about what the movie's talking about. The movie's saying it, but we're gonna fucking say it so you fucking get it. And like so you could call it that, and like you could take that negatively, but I think a lot of that dialogue is super fucking poignant. I did not expect it from a guy that screams and mumbles all the time. But I think it's very poignant, and it's fucking wholesome, man. And like it's funny this pairing because like there's a lot of wholesomeness in Rhinestone, and like this movie for being a murder spree movie is pretty goddamn wholesome.
Yeah,
Like they do kill a bunch of random people, but they were kind of dicks. And these guys are kind of nice guys. They're just lovable characters.
yeah,
But yeah, it's fun. What I love about this movie, and I think that its best quality is how truly and like flatly it portrays American pop culture.
yeah. Especially of that
of the
era,
time,
or
of the
about
time,
like
yeah.
late 2000s.
So the portrayal of the stuff of the time is super accurate, but the assessment of what that means, I think, is like the timeless part
Yeah.
of what's happening here. Like the things that are said about what's happening could be applied right now with the media we have just as well as then. Like it's just looking at media at large, but they do a great job showing what happens. But yeah, it's a classic guy down on his luck story. Just everything goes fucking wrong, and he's just a nice guy, and he's just fucking had enough. And
Yeah, it's a classic Bonnie and Clyde story. Although take out the love story.
yep. Well, there's actually legitimately plutonic love there. Like they become really great friends.
It's
and, like,
it's a platonic
I think
Bonnie and Clyde.
I think that capturing that friendship is one of the charms of the movie too.
yeah.
Where they just capture this fun thing. These guys, yeah.
Yeah, I would also because you want to put it into a basket with like your falling downs,
Yeah.
and that makes sense. But
It fits
also
elsewhere too.
you
for
could
sure.
you could also put it in a basket with Bonnie and Clyde, and then
Badlands. Have you seen
I was gonna
Badlands?
say Natural Born Killers.
Yeah.
Natural
No,
Born.
no,
Kill-
it definitely would go. Yeah, I'd go.
True
with
Romance.
True Romance. Yeah. Definitely more on the comedy side.
That's the Ethan. No,
Christian Slater
Christian
and,
Slater.
and
Oh, okay.
Patricia Arquette.
it's written by
Which one was
Tarantino.
Which one was the David Duchovny movie? Remember that one? About him like doing a.
I don't know
Anyway,
that many David Duchovny movies.
we're getting off track.
Was it the X Files?
Wait,
No,
have you
no.
guys seen Badlands?
I don't think so.
Terrence Malick. It's Sissy Spacek and
Have not.
Oh, maybe
one of the Sheens. I think.
Maybe.
It's really good. You should watch that.
Anyway, but yeah, no, this definitely
70s.
could fit into those tropes too, for sure.
Super fun movie.
Yeah, no, the opening is great. I love the scene. What triggers it. The setup is great too, and forewarning everybody. If you don't want to see a baby explode, you might not want to watch this movie.
In about the most cartoonish possible way.
It's super cartoonish and it's super over the top.
My wife hates kids, and she was just like, she still gave me the seriously. There's we're just shooting a kid in the face in the first 30 seconds of the movie.
Now the intro we get to this guy after his just worst day, or no, we get the intro before the worst day possible. We get the intro to this guy just living in this shitty apartment, tiny apartment.
Is that it?
Yes, that's what I'm talking
California with a K.
Yeah.
California with a K.
Also,
1993.
it's notable. The main character Frank is played by A. Murray, who is Bill Murray's brother.
Which I did
Oh
not
my
know.
God, he is.
Yeah, he's Bill Murray's brother.
That
I
okay.
found
That
out- I found
kind of
that
makes
out,
it a lot
like,
better.
2 days ago.
There was a couple times I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys, can you not make it so obvious you wanted Bruce Willis for this movie? But the fact that it's his brother makes it
Not
like
Bruce Willis. Bill Murray.
it's Bill Murray's brother. Okay,
Bill
that's
Murray.
fucking weird. Never mind, that's weird. What
No.
the fuck?
See, it makes so much sense. I didn't know that until you said it, of course. And
Yeah.
when you said that, like the way he speaks, his fucking mouth, like
Yeah.
his lips, like
He's
he
like
does,
doing an impression of.
He does the
oh,
same.
Oh yeah, that
Which
the
is-
he does
it's
the
just
same
family
thing.
mannerisms.
Caddyshack.
Yeah,
The
he does the
Caddyshack,
same thing. He has it. He just
character
has it. It's
he's
a
got
family.
there,
Yeah, it's a
like,
family
oh,
trait.
Yeah, it's just the
Like,
way their mouth moves when
Yeah.
they speak.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
There was several times where I'm like, you guys really wanted
was-
to make this movie with Bruce
I
Willis
watched
and
the-
Chloe Grace Moretz, but you couldn't afford them.
So I
Yeah.
followed up 2 days later with a
I-
second
it's-
watch with Molly, and
It has to be a non-action guy though, for the movie to stick. For
That
the,
that's
for
true.
the idea,
That's true.
like you can't
Yeah,
have an
that's
action
yeah.
guy.
With Bruce Willis,
I thought
you
the
get a
casting was
different-
actually really good for these two because the dude is like an unassuming dude, which is the character needs to be an unassuming dude. So
yeah,
So yeah, I did the second
and
watch
very
with Molly,
like, cute, kind of
and
lovable.
I'm watching the credits, and I see like the main dude's last name is Murray. And I'm,
Yeah.
it just immediately sparks something. I'm like, I wonder if he's related to Bill Murray, because like he kind of has some like mannerisms that match, and sure enough, it's his fucking brother.
That I've seen him in some other stuff too. He's an
Yeah, like I have
he's
seen.
in
I couldn't name
Scrooged.
anything that he was in Scrooge.
apparently.
What did he play?
Let's see.
Of course, yeah. Bill Murray just puts his
Nepotism.
brother and everything. Fucking nepotistic motherfucker.
Bill Murray. Wow, he's where is he?
What's his name? Do you even have it on there? Something Murray. Anyway,
Something
doesn't
Murray.
matter.
Anyway,
Moving on.
yeah.
Joel Murray.
Joel Murray.
Joel
John.
Murray.
Continue. Sorry, I interrupted you there. Too.
Oh, you're good. So yeah, we get the intro to this guy with his shitty life in his shitty apartment. He's a war veteran that is like subtly established, I think, later in the movie. He was like typical fucking douchebag neighbors, super loud, obnoxious. Like you get the first taste of the TV quotes. Pretty much every like bystander character in this movie does nothing but like regurgitate something they've seen on TV.
Yeah.
They drive that home pretty hard, but
I feel like this movie, kind of like we spoke about earlier with Full Metal Jacket, to where it's like kind of two different movies in one. I feel like this movie is also kind of broken up, where it's like you have like the first half of the movie, which is like you living through Joel's eyes as he sits on his couch and watches TV.
Yeah.
And you get that's basically the world building part of the
yes,
film.
yeah. The world building is through the TV shows that are produced pretty well for their sake.
And
of the
then once
movie.
they go on the spree, it kind of turns into a completely different movie.
Yes, yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah, it turns much more adventurous and fun. Like
Yeah.
it really does. Like you get a good dose of hopelessness and just fucking pressure and oppression sociologically in the first bit of the movie. But the casting of the girl is very fun too, because her character is super fun and she's like really weird character, honestly. Like it's just enigma, just vicious this
Yeah.
youth that's just like hyper aware of everything and just wants everything to burn and just happens to come across the main character's first kill, which was hilarious. his first kill. I love the trigger that makes him start, because he has a kid that he doesn't have custody of that has just been pretty much ruined by modern culture and like that portrayal of that kind of kid. Like, I am familiar.
I want it.
It's hard. I want to just screaming and crying about everything.
Pissed off because she got a BlackBerry for Christmas
instead of an iPad. That was one of my favorite lines too. Like, his wife calls him, "Oh, she's so upset. She's so upset. Like, all right, what's wrong?" "Well, got her a BlackBerry instead of an iPad. I mean, I feel so bad. I know. I should have just."
Like, why would you get her any of those?
Why couldn't you get her either?
Yeah,
She's 6. She doesn't need a BlackBerry or an iPhone.
That bit has aged very well, because I feel like get some kid, in a middle class school, not anything but an iPhone, and they're gonna be fucking mocked.
Dude,
for a
that's
month.
the thing that so that's why I think this movie does age really well, is because it was capturing what was happening at the genesis of what is happening now.
Yeah.
And it's all the same thing, really. Like, the fucking focus on material and wealth and everything. Like, it's capturing the moment when it happened, but like, it's still going. Like, the reality TV shows now are past being just reality TV shows, and now it's like everyone's lives are becoming that. Yeah. So much of just American culture is just becoming that, because it just condensed, and like with streaming and being a social media influencer, everyone turns into a fucking TV reality show starlet, and like, so it's talking about what's happening now when it happened.
It's because it is really just barely touches on like the internet aspect of things. It's still in like fully in the TV era.
It's very early, but it all like has become the same, because like what is happening now with social media influencers, just it's making each individual that thing. Yeah. So like it's
this
the
movie
same
definitely
thing.
holds up for current.
Yeah.
Current
the
era.
assessment of everything is great. The first scene before he snaps, in his office, we get a day at his office, which includes some of the reasons why he snaps. He tries to be nice and sends a maybe love interest at work some flowers, and he looked up her address with work, and he gets fired for sexual harassment. And that was the first.
We see two scenes between the two of them, and she seems equally flirtatious in those scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
So like the fact that like sexual harassment is like, what?
Yeah. No, he immediately gets walked out. No compromise.
That seemed like a little like they were a little too on the nose, because I feel like that feels almost like a straw man argument of
it's like cancel culture before cancel culture, man.
Yeah, but like if in a world where people are getting fired because of how they're acting,
right,
you're not getting those are people that are either delusional or like fully ignoring warning signs. Those aren't people who are like, "Oh yeah, please give me a book," and then I gave her a book because she asked for a book, and then you're firing me. Like, that doesn't make like that. I don't think that's happening in that way.
No, I mean,
and I think that's just being a bit harsh.
I mean, I think it's very. I mean,
well, he wasn't. What he was doing, he was just trying to make the bit.
This is satire.
The Reese. Bit, yeah, the bit that and the bit of the exchange was that he was just trying to do something nice. He was trying to do something nice, and it got misconstrued.
Yeah, I understand. But they're showing the audience, making that look like she is fully on board with this. It doesn't look. You're not getting any kind of.
That's where the satirical nature comes in for me.
So I mean,
they want to show how ridiculous.
From looking at this scenario,
this is what the world's come to. The guy tries to do something nice, and he gets fucking fired.
Yeah, but those arguments, when the guys a lot of the times are like, "Well, I was just being nice," turn out a lot of the times to be the guy was being a dick or like the harassing.
I was just being nice. I pulled my dick out and slapped her in the leg.
The real point is, though, I think the real point is that sometimes it is just a guy being nice.
Yeah,
that's what I think. That's the
I
bit.
think what I'm guessing. What I'm meaning is, I think for the sake of the broader narrative, it would have made a lot more sense if she isn't the one who reports it. Like, she's like, even if she can like speak up and try and stop it, and they're like, no, sorry, we can't have people giving coworkers gifts. We're gonna have to let you go. And like, I think that even works with the broader narrative.
Yeah, well, I mean, so why he got fired? Why he got fired? And really, when you really look at it, so why he got fired was that he used the company to do it.
Yeah.
And so when we see her, she's always amicable and flirtatious too. And in the last time you see her, which the scene before, she was amicable and flirtatious. The last time is he gets his book back, but she's still like, we don't actually know that she was the one that called it in on him. It's just the fact that I think more the point is that that's what happened. I don't know that there's. I just don't think it matters that much. I get what you're saying, but I think that it's still.
I mean, they were saying like she doesn't feel safe with you here.
Yeah.
I thought they showed her like shuddering away or like looking disgusted at him.
She looked like she had an embarrassed look.
Yeah.
In the last scene.
Yeah, she did.
Like, after the book was asked for.
Yeah.
But it was embarrassed there. But
I feel like from a broader lens, in most cases, it's the corporation that's the asshole, not the individual. The corporation is wanting to cover their ass for something that they just should have been paying more attention to.
No, I agree.
I
think that they made the corporation look like a dick in the scene as well as this person.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the first cut, and then it goes to cancer, which that scene's funny too.
That scene's very funny. That scene.
In every scene, there's just always
very foul-mouthed doctor.
Yeah. In every scene of this, there's a bit of just like in the background of what's happening, just showing the degradation of our culture at large, of communication and everything. And so, like he said, talking to his doctor about having cancer, and the doctor stops the conversation midway to deal with some guy about his fucking sunroof of his car, or the roof of his car, or something, some feature of his vehicle, while he's having a fucking conversation that like means a person's life, like that was also great. But when he finally snaps, is his wife calls him with his daughter pissed off, and as he's having this conversation with his wife and daughter, he's watching the My Sweet 16 thing where it's a girl just who's the worst fucking person in the world.
She got a something and she wanted an Escalade.
Yeah. She got a, I don't even know.
Just like the more expensive, scaled up version of not getting an iPhone.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what made him snap, and that's what set the whole thing in motion. But yeah, the first kill is hilarious when he goes to this chick's school, and this is when he meets the sidekick. Tries to be all gangster and like locks her in her car when she gets off school and like sets it on fire and like does a dramatic walk away with. He's
putting a rag in the gas tank, lighting it on fire. The rag falls out. He has to chase it.
Music stops.
Tries his hand on it in the parking lot.
No, it's there's a lot of murder, but between each murder, there's a lot of just genuine interaction with the characters, a lot of conversation.
That first scene is hilarious though, because he's just like, oh shit, this is going wrong. Yeah. So people are coming now. Fuck, just shoot her. It's like
bail mode,
and it's like you just see this like blood splatter. Like
I was actually really surprised because I've only seen the movie once before, and I fully remembered like a couple scenes where he interacts with her before she dies. I forgot how quickly he kills her.
No, it's just like that's it. There's that. All right, she's here to do a job. No, I don't know. It's quite the ride. It does take a very genuine turn. Like a lot of the dialogue between them is very fun. It's a lot of murder for the sake of being nice. Because more than anything, it's just touching on how no one's fucking nice anymore, and everybody's just shitty. And why does everything have to be so shitty? Which is what these kind of falling down scenarios are always about. Just like why? Why does it have to be shitty?
Yeah. Here are my notes for the movie. I have 2 lines. Frank is a normal man broken by society. Roxy is a teenage psychopath.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
That's the difference between the two, because to me, they're not actually in it for the same reasons. Because like he's more got like a code, like where it's like I only want to people that deserves it, and she'll kill the doorman right now. If
I feel like there's an amount of him teaching the code, but she's just a teenage. She's just vicious. That first interaction. So after the first kill, Frank tries to kill himself, and she barges upon the hotel room and gets her way inside. And after she realizes what he's doing, she's like, "All right, well, fucking do it."
Yeah.
Let me see.
I'm gonna watch.
I feel like she's even less of a psychopath. I feel like she's like a mirror to Frank as far as like his solution to kindness is killing people, right? So and then the reflection of seeing this and like she's obviously she makes up a shit ton of lies of how she's the worst life ever, and it turns out she's
a flat out liar.
Very normal, well off family, and so she's just fucking bored.
Yeah,
and so like
which though is a fantastic like indictment of our culture too. It's like, we're so fucking bored with everything because it's so stupid and boring that you're just gonna be like, yeah, like let's go.
She's like, just well, fucking fine. Let's fucking, pick up a gun and popping heads. Yeah. Like that's fun, right? That's what we see. I think that's I think you can easily maybe see a little more shallow into the movie of how it's like, solve your problems with a gun. But I feel like that's exactly what her character is saying. Is like, I mean, if that's the message you're putting out, this is the kind of the kids you're going to be getting.
No, for sure. And that's where like I enjoy their interaction as characters because like he does have the code and he tones it down and tries to tone her down in a degree. And like, these fucking things are... what do you do? I mean, that's why I love this idea in art. This conversation is like, what the fuck do we do with what we have now? Like, our modern culture is like laughably ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like in the worst ways, in the most real violent ways. Like, I like these movies because I like this kind of dialogue and story because like nothing in the world makes any sense really. When you just sit down and think about it and talk about it, like you can think whatever you want about what's happening, but none of us have any real rationalizations for it. None of us have any solutions for it, and it's just a bunch of fucking nonsense. So it's kind of fun to take a jaunty like stroll through like people trying to, I don't know, just trying to do whatever they're doing.
Make some sort of a difference.
Indeed. I think my favorite scene was in the office right before he gets fired, where he's talking to his coworker, and he's like, "Did you see that freak on American Idol last night?" And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I don't really watch the show, but yeah, I saw it." "Oh, so you don't watch the show, but you saw it. So what are you, too good for the show?" Yes, I am too good for the show.
No, I mean that whole fucking the office scene is great. Like the dialogue, that monologue he has with that character is fantastic. And the portrayal of just the day-to-day portrayal of what everybody's become, where everybody just regurgitates something they've heard. That's, again, it still holds up.
Yeah.
Like, it's not TV and radio anymore, but our society is still the same. Our society is basically just people regurgitating shit they heard that somebody else said. Look at your social media feed.
Yeah.
It's not people saying things, it's people sharing something that somebody else fucking said.
Yeah. That's,
Every single bit.
I think, it's hard also to look past a little bit of golden ageism, but I feel like the character has that lens, but not the movie. And
no,
so
I agree. I agree.
Because like with the stuff like the same fucking thing happens on the radio, they're like pointing out it's like it's not the now, it's not the internet, it's not the TV, it's all of it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, I mean the character has that bit. He has a bit of the golden age, the old man. Mode for sure through a lot of it, but it's not on anything specific or obnoxious. Like it's literally like the focus of the old manism is, man, we could be less dicks. Like we could talk about things. That's why I love that monologue in the office. The line for me is like no one talks about anything. I love that line. No one talks about anything. No one has a real conversation. They just blur whatever the fuck they've just heard.
It almost sets the stage for the killing spree to be like kind of a revolution against like just kind of a revolution against the dying spirit of like just kind of the human condition, like the human experience. Like almost like this entire thing is just like nobody feels anything the way that they should. Nobody experiences anything the way they should, and then what you get is like a bloody spree to kind of commemorate that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not everybody's gonna like this thing. I was really curious what your assessment would be of the movie Reese on the older rewatch after you've.
Yeah, I definitely didn't like it as much. I felt some of the girls' lines, especially, I thought were just a little too written by an angry old man-ish.
Fair enough.
Stuff of that was also so of the time that I look back so negatively on stuff like the twihards and girls like stupid shit. It's like she's saying everything that every 13 to 18-year-old boy was at the time, and so just saying it with a girl doesn't. No,
that's super fair. That's super fair enough. Yeah,
I agree with you 100%. Which goes back to my assessment: Frank is a normal man broken by society. Roxy is a teenage psychopath,
and also just regurgitating every negative opinion she heard on the internet.
Well, because Frank has a purpose to his violence, as much as one could have a purpose for that violence, or at least an excuse. Whereas Roxy is just kind of piggybacking off of his purpose. She didn't really have her own.
Yeah.
She didn't have.
I agree with that. That she is just parroting some shit too, and there's things that were said in some of that dialogue that is fucking completely ridiculous. One thing I thought you would fucking have a ball laughing at me about and pointing out when she's like, people that say punk rock. I thought you'd.
It was
I by the end of the movie, they there's not anybody that they haven't talked about wanting to kill, right? It's like fucking people who have high fives. Like okay,
no, it's just generically douchey shit. And there's a bit of generic nature to some.
The high five bit was hilarious, just because he tries to high five her after, and she's like, "No, we're not doing that."
Yeah. I liked it more when the movie is going into more kind of funny, nitpicky, very relatable things like the fucking killing someone who's talking in the theater.
Yeah, or the parking lot driving thing. No. I agree. There was some long-windedness and there was some annoying, there was some redundant stuff for sure. But no, and some of that, on the punk rock note, she's like, Alice Cooper made punk rock. No, bitch, shut up.
Yeah. That was okay, cool.
That's just silly.
She didn't 12-year-old exactly
girl.
That.
She basically did, and it's completely inaccurate. I have no problem.
She never said the words punk rock, but what she said about Alice Cooper was all true.
He said Alice Cooper because of.
I'm also a huge Alice Cooper fan.
Angsty stuff. I have no problem with Alice Cooper, but she was just like Alice Cooper made angsty things. She literally said he basically made punk rock. That was a line in the fucking movie.
Yeah. She's basically saying Alice Cooper invented all modern rock.
Yeah, forms. Modern rock music, which Alice Cooper's cool for sure. But there's plenty of that.
But then it gets into again, what was so of the time, and maybe
there's a lot of Alice Cooper on the soundtrack also.
Yeah.
Is that
there was a good soundtrack
to show how good
something is. It was a good soundtrack.
To show how good something is, you have to tear other things down. Where she's not like Alice Cooper's the best ever. She's like Alice Cooper's the best ever, and David Bowie's a hack, and this guy's a piece of shit, and this guy's a copycat.
Yeah.
It's that's just such a young, immature attitude. And
I was kind of annoyed by that as well. And also the Bill Murray's brother did a really phenomenal job with his role in this movie. And the problem with having kid characters is you end up with kid actors, and I feel like the whole Alice Cooper bit was a little bit too much for her. The words she was saying felt rehearsed, because they were, I thought that just on and I'm not saying she did a bad job in the movie. I think she was fine for what she did, but that particular scene I thought was the worst acted scene in the movie.
Some of those long drawn out dialogues between them about that shit, that's probably the weakest parts of the film for sure. Because they don't quite make sense or fit here.
Anytime she is really lashing out at anything feminine, and not in a oh come on wear a dress, but
it's a little too forced.
There's a kind of the only way to show your support of something is to tear something else down. Where she's like, I'm not a dumb little bitch that wears a dress. I wear pants. You can do both. And again,
sure.
She's a teenage character, so it's how much
again, that may have been intentional for the character, and that's the bit is that Frank is always fucking calming her ass down and calming her down and redirecting. So maybe that was part of the point, but some of that stuff was a little frustrating and annoying. But overall, though, man, I think it's, again, I think so you can argue some of like how they portray certain parts of the indictment, but I think overall it's a pretty. This is why I love the movie, because it's preachy, and I just happen to agree with it when it's preaching, which is American culture. Modern American culture is vapid and empty and bullshit. Like, there are some ways in that indictment and argument they may have been able to do it better, but I think it's a very good and lasting and accurate indictment of what we're dealing with now. You know, and it was fun.
Yeah, I think it's a very fun movie. Very cathartic theater scene.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like, I don't know, maybe you could think this movie, like, look at it and be like, oh, it's pretty political. Like, I'll get my full fill of the whole thing. There's a lot of stuff they don't even fucking really touch on that you would think they would touch on for the time too. Like,
I mean, they don't really touch on politics that much.
No, which is what I like, because it's an overarching thing. And
maybe that's also, I think maybe like, talking about politics in the way we talk about like reality TV show might be like a post 2016 type of thing.
Well,
or post Obama even.
Politics are just a reality fucking TV show anyway.
Now more than ever with the prevalence of the internet. And,
they're going to be from now on.
Yeah,
everything's a lie. Anyway, so it's fun. You may not agree with it. I think it's well timed for the 4th of July. I didn't realize
that's true. That's perfect.
It was pretty awesome.
Damn.
But I don't know. I think it has things that about a lot of aware people from different angles and backgrounds could like enjoy and agree with.
Yeah.
And I think that overall the assessment as a whole is fair. You know, just like, why is everything so stupid and not nice?
Yeah.
That's like the takeaway from this movie is like, don't be so stupid and not nice. Be less stupid and more nice. It's just...
That's simple.
It's super simple, and I think that's really what this is about. Like, you don't have to be fucking so shitty all the time.
Yeah.
My final thoughts is I think it was a net positive film. I liked it, right? Like, I mean, it's either net positive or net negative. I had more positive things to say than negative. The negatives would be probably just the Roxy, not really the character, more just the actress. Like, I think there were a couple of scenes where she wasn't as polished, and it probably would have been a slightly better movie if she was.
Yeah.
But, it's nitpicking, honestly. Like, the movie was good.
Yeah, the pacing
was
is
as good as it should have
good
been.
enough that you don't really hang on those experiences in the scenes. You know, like,
I do really
you
like
get to
the
move
pacing.
right along, and like the things that may have annoyed you for a moment are like, yeah, whatever, we're on this now. You know,
I do think that the fact that it has that Full Metal Jacket effect, where the first half of the movie is very different than the second half, is going to put some sways in
I mean,
whoever's
a lot of
reviews.
people ain't gonna make it past the baby anyway.
I mean, you're probably not gonna
feel
get
like for
past
most-
the first 30 minutes. If you're not gonna like the movie, you're not gonna finish. The
Yeah,
movie.
if you're not going to agree with a movie too, like, this movie is very likely, like, a lot of people like don't even. I mean, the people that I would tell to not bother to not bother to watch this movie.
I would have preferred more of a Taxi Driver approach. Like, if it were just me, my taste, I would have preferred that what we got in the first half. I would have wished it was just like just a dude on his couch watching TV for the entire movie, and then one random act of violence at the end to cap it.
Right.
Whereas I feel like most people would probably skip the first half of the movie and just do more of the like fun ass, like, you know, like slapstick Bonnie and Clyde thing.
Right.
Yeah. A messy, or even it could be like somewhere between the Taxi Driver and like the Voices, where it's like almost like a more serial killer effect, because he does not get caught for.
No,
like,
well, that's a funny thing
murders.
about this movie, and I think that was another purposeful thing. Like, every murder they do, it's just like I guess it's just slapping fucking America in the face is just how stupid we are. We're just like every murder they commit, they were just like, oh, I was a terrorist. Like, they get a free pass to murder everybody because they're always just like chalk it up to some dumb bullshit thing.
They're in the same stolen car for like
most
of the movie,
and it's an obnoxious stolen car. It's not like a station wagon. It's a bright ass yellow sports car. Which I think all that was purposeful. But yeah. So I just want to take a veer from the more like dry, serious stuff that we had last time. So make a fresh slate. I think comedy makes a good fresh slate.
I just want to say personally, we've done a lot of double features since we started this podcast, and this is one of the more delightful double features. And it's like I really, because we did both on a Wednesday, and like those historically have been rough because the last movie in a double feature is usually the more serious film, and this one had enough humor to where like I wasn't like struggling to stay awake through the end of the second movie.
Was pretty fun.
Bright and breezy.
Yeah, it was fun throughout.
Breezy? For sure.
Probably even more so for me because I hadn't actually seen the second movie. So
Oh yeah, that was a nice little mirror. You were the only one who'd seen Rhinestone and the only one who hadn't seen God Bless America.
Yep.
I am going to be recommending Rhinestone to so many people, but it's
that's a shitty thing to do because they can't fucking watch it anyway.
That is, I know.
They have to pay $11 to get a DVD.
I'm gonna say pirate it because like fuck studios who have these movies and like all we want to do is give you money for them.
That's the property of Dollywood or Sylvester Stallone.
I have to believe it's Sylvester. I bet he is embarrassed by that movie.
Yeah,
and he
owns the rights to Drankenstein. And
I would bet he probably owns the rights to the movie or something like that.
I did see if you look it up on Letterboxd, he is it says directors.
Oh yeah,
and they have the Bob
Clark.
That's
the same guy that did the Christmas Story.
And then there are two other guys, one guy I've never heard of, and Sylvester Stallone that say uncredited. So they gave him a uncredited director.
And this was mid-Rocky. He was height of his career.
Director.
So I would not be surprised if he owns the rights and he has like the smallest ego in the world or biggest ego. How does that work?
Yeah.
Biggest ego in the world, and is like so embarrassed by this movie, and either that or it's a music issue. That's a
that could be
thing.
too, yeah.
But if I'm telling you, if Criterion announced Rhinestone, I would be pre-ordering that shit.
I will
it's
say
a
though,
fun-ass movie,
you
dude.
can buy an $11 DVD on Amazon.
I don't want no DVD.
Come on, man. It's gonna be in style in 10 years.
I'm just saying,
get ahead of the curve, dude.
I want my pixels.
Unlike other things where like it's not available anywhere, but if you go on Amazon, you can buy an old ass DVD for $150.
We're gonna have.
I'll say
DVD collecting is gonna be hot. Very short time.
Blu-rays, people. If it was a Blu-ray, I would pay $11 in a heartbeat for a Blu-ray.
Yeah, you would because you can't pay $11 for any other Blu-ray.
But I mean, whatever cut we watched of it was like pristine picture quality.
Really good, yeah.
A DVD would not look half that good.
We had a friend of the podcast. I don't know how legal it is. He claims it is. I don't know because we just watched a movie in like 1080p and it's never been released in 1080p. So
at least not in America.
Conversion.
I wonder if there is a foreign Blu-ray of it. Anyway, I don't remember what we were talking about. I fucking love Rhinestone.
Rhinestone.
I love Rhinestone. I think God Bless America is very fun.
Overall these movies are fun.
Great double feature. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
I will recommend Rhinestone to everyone. I will not recommend God Bless America to everyone.
No, you gotta know your audience.
Get shot in the face.
Yeah, it's not the baby thing; it's the other.
I love that's actually my favorite. Like he's like bitching like about his neighbors. He's like, I hate that baby. I hate that. I want to shoot that baby in its stupid fucking loud ass face. You know? It was like, this guy.
It's also, I mean, it's the most violent or like iffy. I don't know what do you say.
Yeah, it's
touchy
probably,
subject, but it's also a dream sequence, and it's very much played as such. Like it's goofy.
For sure.
Though I suppose a baby probably would just evaporate.
Yeah, with a
Let's talk about
shotgun.
the science.
He had,
If
he
we
had
actually shot a baby in the
he
face.
had a 12 to 22 gauge shotgun. So yeah, it was just,
Yeah.
Some pink mist.
Well, if you want a fun movie night, watch one and/or both of these movies.
yes.
That's what I say.
Right on. And now we're going to turn it over to Reese to talk about upcoming
Some
theatrical
theater.
releases.
Yes.
I just had the
Um,
best idea for a double feature.
You know what? I was thinking on the way here. To clarify, Twisters is not in theaters yet. I think it's coming out next month. But
I will watch
if
that.
Twisters came out 4th of July weekend, would that movie not just rake in the money?
Yes, it would.
That's like a
that seems
perfect-
like the right time.
Yeah.
That
So what
seems-
came out 4th of July or what comes out Friday? Like nothing?
Friday?
You told me it's like 3 more Christian movies.
I mean, in Warsaw, there's literally
Well, we
always
just-
a new
I
Christian
mean, it's
movie.
just independent Christian movies. We are in that demographic area.
The new movies this
It
week,
didn't used to be.
We always have been.
more than ever. I'll tell you, there literally is a new Christian movie every week in Warsaw. It is wild.
It's fucked up.
The Christian movie this week is Sound of Hope,
She's got lots of money.
the story of Possum Trot. Yeah, Sound of Hope.
Story of Possum Trot.
That's I think it's a slavery escape story. From the cover, that's what it looks
Roots.
Yeah.
like. Possum Trot
Paint
adopts.
it.
Possum Trot adopts 77 of the most difficult to place kids in the foster. Okay, so it's not slavery. Sorry.
No.
Oh, okay.
All right, not at all like Roots.
Yeah.
Right here.
I mean, okay, look at this cover, and the movie's called Possum Trot. Would you not say something about slaves escaping?
I mean, it does give it that.
I think you're making a jump.
I think it
Okay,
gives it.
I'm
think it gives it to
racist.
it a bit,
I
yeah.
see nobody in chains there. I just see black people. And somebody
Black
running.
people running.
Okay, also,
There's a field. Is that where you're getting it from? There's
Yes.
black people in a field.
There's a
just
field,
assume it's slavery.
person wearing like a head
Fucking
covering.
white people.
They're running. There's 3 people running through a field. Sorry. I'm racist, okay? Is that what you want? Is that what you
Whoa! I didn't say that. God damn, slow down.
Also coming out this week, Despicable Me 4.
Oh,
my
let it die.
God, yeah.
Let it die. The first one was like actually endearing and enjoyable.
How many
I
Minions
think,
movies are there?
I think
Oh,
there's
God.
2 Minions.
Yeah,
Are
no,
those
that
counted in the 4?
that franchise should have known.
So there's like
spin-off.
6.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is actually the 6th.
At least 6.
That
Yeah.
shit was enjoyable at first for those kinds of films. I thought it was okay. And like, yeah, no, that
It's
should
gone
have
too
died.
far.
Yeah.
That should have died a long time ago. Man.
I don't understand how they continue to make money, but I mean, I guess somebody watches them.
I guess it's the same way that you're guaranteed to make an amount of money on a reboot of a franchise.
Yeah.
Because people are gonna watch it.
Well, I liked the first one. The amount of times I hear people who's like, well, I didn't think it'd be good, but I liked the first one, so I went and saw it. It's like,
I liked
you're
Friday.
the fucking problem.
And so then I
If
figured
they have familiarity, they're gonna just pull the trigger.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like
Remakes, I think 80% of the box office they get from remakes are people going because they like, well, I want to just compare it. I know it won't be as good.
Yeah.
I just want to compare it to the original.
It's guaranteed money
Yeah.
because of human psychology. It's hilarious. Like they know we're gonna do it.
I liked Friday, but next Friday was kind of stupid. But then I watched Friday after next, and that also wasn't good. But then I watched Saturday or whatever the fucking thing is that happens after that, because I know it doesn't end there. And it's just like, yeah, there's one good movie. Stop what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, but they get to go because they know people are gonna do it. They
Yeah.
know people are gonna do it.
So yeah, Despicable Me 4
They're
is the
stupid
big
animals.
blockbuster we get for 4th of July weekend, which I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feels like a prime time
Has
for like
there
a
ever
family
been a sequel
movie.
where
Dude,
they
Twisters-
replace major
Twisters would be
actors?
perfect, dude. It would fucking murder in the Midwest, man.
I know.
It
I
would
know
be-
so many people who are like psyched for Twisters.
Oh yeah, no, it would have been a great
Twisters
box
comes out
office.
September 19th, so 3
Ugh.
weeks.
I kind of I've got this weird thing where my wife is my wife is from the East Coast. She grew up in Maryland. She's used to like the Atlantic Ocean and all this, right? And like they didn't have tornadoes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And like she moved here when she was a teen, and she is like frightened by them to the point where she's got like storm watcher alerts on her phone.
It is hilarious because if you grow up here, it's like,
yeah,
it happens,
and it's just like
just roll the dice, man. It gets you or it doesn't.
No.
Yeah,
So like,
look, I've never seen one.
Yeah.
But
if there's like a
lived
tornado warning, and like there could be like a tornado warning at 3 a.m. and like she's like
in the basement.
no, like we don't have a basement. We have a crawl space, but she's like in like gear, like she's ready to move. You know, like wherever she needs, like she's ready to go, and she's like
funny.
Not afraid to wake me up and let me know, hey, just so you know, there is a tornado warning. I'm going to go downstairs, and so I'm close to the crawl space. And I'm like, okay.
I adapted well because, like, I came from Reno, and, like, I was used to earthquakes.
Yeah.
So, like, I was used to just, like, random environmental shit. It might kill you. Like, all right.
So,
if it's not earthquakes,
here's my
hurricanes,
here's my thought.
Twisters.
My mom lives in Warsaw, Indiana. I live in Winona Lake, Indiana, which is basically Warsaw, Indiana.
Oh, it's, yeah.
Half of my mom's house was removed by a tornado in Warsaw, Indiana. The odds of it happening to me are fucking impossible.
Yeah. No, exactly,
The
dude.
odds that my mom's house and my house are both going to get hit by tornadoes is like a statistic anomaly.
Not to offend anybody that ever had like a tornado happen to them, but like it is just like the greatest lottery ever. Like, it's kind of hilarious in a way.
I mean,
like
you see the pictures of like an entire block taken out by a twister, and it does look absolutely like I don't know what I would do.
None of us have any control. It just happens. We're just like here, like, yep, we might just die in the summer.
Yeah.
Like you live in the Midwest, like, yeah, you might just die some summer. Might just be like, you're dead.
I mean, now it's like that anywhere.
It's the people who continue to live in areas with like continuous like flooding or forest fires. I don't understand those. That's very odd to me.
When I was a teenager, I used to visit my uncle in California. He lived in Oakland, and like you hear about like earthquakes in California and stuff, but like the thing you don't hear about as much is just regular everyday tectonic shifting.
Yeah.
I was taking a walk down his sidewalk. Like I just wanted to walk around the neighborhood because he's kind of like in a little addition, and like there are fucking like gaps in the earth to where you have to like jump across a hole. It's just like sidewalk. Oh, here's where there's just a huge hole in the earth.
Yeah,
I have to jump across this now.
Patch that up next week.
Yeah. You can throw a couple of automobiles in there. Like it's literally just a fucking gaping hole in the earth. And I mean, to me, that was way more like I don't know. Maybe it's just because I wasn't used to seeing it every day. But
that's what it gets to with those things.
Yeah, for sure.
We're all gonna live in the ocean before long.
Yeah.
Waterworld.
Oh, dude! Don't tempt me to pick that movie. I love that movie. I love that movie to death, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Village all over again.
No, it's not, dude.
A good
I watched that movie all.
Max.
That is not The Village. I watched that movie all the goddamn time.
I think
Waterworld, dude, it's so fun.
I think Waterworld's way more fun than the
Waterworld.
I think The Postman is a better movie.
The Postman is a better movie.
I haven't seen
Absolutely, The Postman's a good movie. Fuck you if you want to say it's not. I think The Postman's good.
Yeah, I think
most everybody shit on it.
I enjoyed The Postman. I did not enjoy Waterworld.
It's fun. It's goofy.
I haven't seen Postman, but I love
You have to put it in the
Waterworld.
right context, man. It's a goofy, fun fucking movie.
Also coming out this week, much more exciting. I'm hopefully going to see it soon. Is Maxine, the third the X and Pearl trilogy?
Oh,
the conclusion.
I haven't seen Pearl.
Which is
I've seen X.
It's set in the 80s in Hollywood.
Okay, so the conclusion set in the 80s.
Yeah.
When are the other things set?
X is present day.
No, X is set in like 70s, like shooting like a low budget porno. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
cool.
And then
I've only seen it once.
And then Pearl is set in like the 40s.
Okay.
Because Pearl is the old lady who is like the murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I need to watch all those.
I don't know. I don't know how much Pearl is going to play into Maxine, but Maxine is a direct sequel to X.
As somebody who's seen both movies, I enjoyed X. I thought it was good. How would you Pearl compared to X?
Pearl is much more odd and much harder to call a horror movie until like the last 20 minutes, if that. It's much more like a character study and performance piece. And Mia Goth is incredible in it. especially in like the last half.
Because it's the same chick that's in
Yeah.
the first movie, but she's playing a different character.
And in X, she plays the old lady in makeup, which you wouldn't really ever
Okay,
guess.
that's right. That's right. And there was a whole like play on that where like she kind of reminds her of like a younger version of
her
herself.
like youthfulness and sexiness is like pissing her off because her husband is having heart issues and can't get a hard on.
Right.
And so like she's jealous of all these kids and teenagers, not kids, they're all adults. Fucking in their barn,
young people,
filming
God
a porno.
damn young people.
And so they go, the old people start killing them all, and it's really fun.
It's honestly like it seems stale because it's just like teenagers having sex on old people's on old hillbilly property, and then they get taken out by the hillbillies. Like it seems pretty obvious for a horror film, but like. I don't know.
It's done really well.
It is done really well.
There's more. I don't know. There's more backbone to the intention and like the story than just any horror movie where just young people get murdered at random by some random guy for some random reason. It's like, hey, I get that. I could just say, fuck these young people.
Yeah,
cocksuckers. You get to have
it's
all
also
that sex and romp around. Like fuck this shit.
I feel like it's got levels to it. It's deeper. Like it's deconstructing the genre in some ways too. Because like we all know the trope of the first person to have sex dies, or the more slutty you are as a character, the quicker you'll die in the horror movies. And they literally do the opposite, where the first person dies is the only person who hasn't had sex yet. Yeah. And then the person who has had sex once dies next. And then Maxine is
the sluttiest people.
The sluttier you are, the longer you live in this one. It's very fun.
It's super interesting. I really want to watch those movies.
Yeah.
I've only seen the one. I'd be down for like a binge of
if it works out, we can see
the two
Maxine in theaters. That'd be awesome.
In theaters, maybe that'd be kind of fun. We could make that work somehow.
Yeah, somehow. So those are the new releases.
Oh, so not shit for 4th of July weekend is what you're telling me.
No.
Maxine is your choice.
Maxine is my movie. That's my bitch.
But there's a couple other things. Thelma is still in theaters.
Do you want to see that?
That's your 4th of July
fantastic.
movie.
Yeah.
That would be.
It's going to be fun. The Bike Riders is still in theaters.
Do you want to see that?
I think
it's
I want
such a fucking terrible.
It's a bad name.
It's such a bad title.
I know, but it's probably
it's one of the worst titles I've ever heard.
It's probably such a good movie.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good movie, but like it is a stupid ass.
I'm taking off half a star for the title, no matter how good it is. You know, like, and I'm sure that every critic that watched the film thought the same thing.
I do. I like Tom Hardy a lot.
Tom Hardy,
a lot of those dudes.
At least it doesn't have a Z at the end.
Yeah. Bike Raiders.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of modern people would do that.
What if it was Bike Riders, but the K was an X?
No, the K would be backwards.
The Quiet Place, Day One. A Quiet Place, Day One. The prequel to The Quiet Places.
I may watch that.
I might. Yeah, I've heard good things.
I want to see what they do with the cat. I want to see if the cat's there the entire film.
I've heard it is. Yeah.
You heard it is?
I've heard the cat actually has a lot of screen time.
Okay. I don't need to watch the movie now because now my assessment of the movie would be the same. Which is, that's fucking ridiculous. You would have a cat the entire time dealing with hyper-powered, fast-moving aliens that kill you for sound. And you have a cat the entire time and you live. That's preposterous. That's fucking nonsense.
She starts petting the cat to keep it quiet and then it purrs.
Exactly. There's no way they don't make noise. They're going to swat something.
To be fair, John Brown has one of the loudest purring cats I've ever heard. Like, this thing's like a goddamn motorboat. That thing would not survive.
That is why I'm drawing such criticism here, because I am a cat owner. Yeah. All right? I know that's
you have some loud ass cats, dude.
That's why I've drawn shit from the full franchise. Because like, I have kids. You had a baby? That's bullshit. Let's make a noise. You're gonna die because it made noise. The second one was irritating as fuck.
I didn't like the second one as much, but I'm just saying they gas the baby constantly.
I know, it's silly. So your baby's gonna have brain damage.
Yeah,
like, cool.
I think they were pretty.
If that works, your baby's handicapped now.
Yeah,
like,
the stupidest thing they could ever do in kind of any apocalypse, but especially that apocalypse, is have kids. What are you doing?
So actually, I was talking to Alicia the other day about this, and I don't know. I'd have to watch movies again to know if it would line up. But she pointed out that They could have been pregnant.
Yeah, that was actually me. We were.
Okay, yeah.
We were
I think Alicia actually.
I think that's actually totally possible.
Yeah. They don't really give you like exact time.
And that is fair enough.
Yes.
That is fair enough. But man, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Let's put aside political opinions for a second. Can we say if there's ever anything to make you consider an abortion? It would be the apocalypse.
Yeah,
maybe.
No.
Apocalypse where things that make noise get your entire family dead. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. No, even if you had the baby, you know what? Like I'm just gonna.
It would be safer for you to wait until the baby comes out, right?
Punch her in the stomach or give her a bunch of cocaine or something.
Presenting to me that you're gonna have a cat the entire time is.
Yeah.
I will watch it to see how they do it.
Yeah.
I will watch it.
It could be a mute cat, Those famous mute cats.
Yeah, until they swat something, because that's what cats do for a living.
Maybe it's a comedy. The entire movie is her having to run because the cat is just doing shit.
That would be kind of
The cat starts pawing at one of the creatures.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. A cat, they always do something. They're going to make noise. And like, when you have dead quiet, that's when they make noise. They're like, super serene moment. And then your cat just comes terracing through a room, just fucking swatting some random thing they think they see. Like, a cat would only kill you in this environment. You would die. And the cat would probably live.
You're like drifting off to sleep, and then you hear crash.
Yes, exactly.
Cat just knocked a fucking flower pot off a shelf or something.
Screech, fucking like, who knows, man. But yeah, the real tragedy is they would live. Because they're a cat. They can skitter off and hide in a hole. And, like, you just got murdered by this alien thing. And then your cat just, like, comes and licks your blood.
So is that the whole movie? The cat just jumping from family to family, getting everybody killed?
Dude, like,
probably.
You know what?
That'd be acceptable.
Give me that franchise, and I could, like, get behind that and follow the cat.
That would actually be a really...
Dude, you know what the best scene of that would be? Is the cat, like... curling up on one of the aliens, because it could. After everyone dies, the cat could move so quietly that it could just sleep on an alien and then like just leave. Like cats could just live in that world.
There is.
Shit.
I feel like there's a movie I've seen before where the entire movie is following like a character or even like an animal or something moving from like people group to people group, and just like. They stay with this person for like 20 minutes and they just move on to the next.
Yeah, no.
This would sound like honestly a pretty amazing story. A cat following a cat, just getting tons of people murdered.
You ever hear or see the movie The Life of a $20 Bill?
No.
It's a film where literally the $20 bill is the star, and like it just follows it as it switches hands.
Pretty fun. Yeah. That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I think I'm thinking of a movie called Wiener Dog.
Yeah.
It's this idea, and I think Danny DeVito's in it for a bit. Actually, I think you would like this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Sorry.
Sorry.
Getting into all kinds of conversations. The Kevin Costner directed Western saga, Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1.
Ooh.
I believe Chapter 2 will
watch it. It might not be good, but
Chapter 2, I believe, is coming out in like July.
Title. Horizon Saga America.
I think they're taking the Magic the Gathering naming convention, the Horizon. Yeah, so the title is Horizon, an American Saga. And then I believe it's supposed to be 3 films, with the second one coming out like in 2 months.
Okay.
And then the third one,
so they were prepared.
it's supposed to be 4 films. The third and fourth one have not been filmed yet. So if these 2 don't do well, I'm guessing we won't get Chapter 3 and 4.
That'd be disappointing.
I mean, they probably, I don't know, they're probably already in the worst thing that shit set out.
Yeah, but I mean, in theory, it's a pretty cool idea because this one's 3 hours long, so it's in theory like a 12-hour Western epic.
I mean, I am a fan of Kevin Costner, so
and Westerns.
Will
like Westerns
and Westerns, so I will absolutely watch this movie.
I'm not a fan of Kevin Costner. I do like Westerns though.
I like Kevin Costner.
And the cast is interesting and diverse. There's definitely people here you'd recognize. So yeah, maybe check that out.
I don't know.
Go watch a 3-hour Western.
America.
I'm down.
Still in theaters is If. I don't. Maybe it's because they're waiting for one person to watch it before they take it out.
Isn't that just like on a streaming service now?
I think it's on like Paramount Plus.
Yeah, like you don't,
No,
you
you
don't even need to go to the
There
theater
just
to
must
watch
not
that.
be anything else to put there.
It must be free.
God,
Like a
you're
free.
right, man.
You guys,
they fucked up. Like the Twisters, like seemed like a no-brainer. For
Dude,
this
yeah.
weekend.
I
Maybe it just couldn't line up somehow.
I
It
guess,
just
but
couldn't
like
line
what
up.
they didn't want to put it up against Despicable Me 4. I
They
feel like
needed
that's
that extra week of
yeah.
post-production.
Yeah,
Twisters would be perfect.
Maybe it got delayed. Garfield is still in theaters, much to
Jesus Christ.
JB's chagrin.
Yeah, I know. I was robbed. I was
Robbed.
robbed of a cinematic experience for the fucking Garfield.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, notably, Furiosa is no longer in theaters.
Okay.
But If is. Bad Boys Ride or Die is still in theaters.
See more of that. Don't need to.
More Martin Lawrence.
You know what?
Zings.
You know what,
and,
Will Smith, you
Will
should
Smith has
do
his shirt off.
And not be doing Bad Boys. You should be making the sequel to fucking Bright on Netflix. Will Smith, if you want to
But
do
completely
something.
rework it. Actually, you know what I think he's
I
working
thought
on?
Bright was fucking good, dude. I thought Bright was.
I think we already talk about this? On the DVD of I Am Legend, there's an alternate ending. They completely changed the ending of the movie where Will Smith survives. In the theatrical version, Will Smith dies at the end.
Right.
They are
Spoilers.
making a sequel. They're currently working on a sequel that is a sequel to the deleted scene. Like Will Smith
Like the
is in the
director's cut
sequel.
version.
Hey, we had it, so it's
Yeah.
all good, guys.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. So that's the sequel Will Smith is working
Yeah,
on.
I know, that's lame. I would rather see Bright because I thought Bright was a good movie.
Yeah.
That was fun fantasy.
Inside Out 2 still in theaters, and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes still in theaters.
Jesus Christ, that's been in theaters forever.
Yeah, that's
It
just
has,
stuff
yeah.
is the same.
So there, honestly, I think there's some good options. We got Maxine, the Back Riders, the Bike
Backriders.
Bike Riders,
The back riders.
the Bareback Riders,
Ooh.
See where this is going.
from the filmmakers who brought you the newest episode of Game of Thrones, the Bareback Riders. Thelma, A Quiet Place. So go out to the theaters.
Yeah,
for
there's
this
stuff to
4th
watch.
of July
There's
weekend.
stuff to watch.
Okay, Dustin.
All right. Yeah. So that brings it to me,
It's all on
and we have a member of our podcast who's never seen The Godfather, so we're gonna fix that.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna fix that.
My
Ideally,
wife just reminded me of a movie I did watch that I forgot about. I watched Lisa Frankenstein.
Oh, that's a fun one.
It was fun.
so we're gonna watch The Godfather, and ideally, in a perfect world, we would
We're
find a
watching The
way.
Godfather?
We would watch The
Alright.
Godfather Part 2 before we had this episode. If we can find a way to fit the other movie in, I'd be all for it.
Yeah,
what we can
if
do.
it happens, it happens. I would love that.
We'll see what we can
But
do.
I think it's important that John Brown see The Godfather, so we're gonna at least do that.
It was going to be my pick. I was going to pick it.
I'll just say now, regardless of if we get a double feature or not, or I guess if we can't get a double feature or not, I'm totally fine with just going right into The Godfather the next
just rolling
episode.
through.
The Godfather Part
Okay.
2, yeah.
Yeah.
And we got this
They're
weird
both 3 hours, right?
and we got this weird week where technically the 31st we should be doing a podcast, but we will not. You will not be here, and also that's a month in for me, so I wouldn't be able to do it anyway, probably.
Yeah, we'll just have to jump a week.
So there might be some shuffling around. Maybe I don't know.
Now that's not the next episode though. That's
No, yeah,
Yeah.
that's just
yeah,
1 hour
but yeah.
from next.
that's what I'm saying. Maybe we shuffle around and do the week before. You know, maybe
Yeah,
we take
something.
the week off a week earlier or something. You know,
Yeah.
we can figure it out. But
yeah,
definitely The Godfather. I think that doing the first 2 makes a lot of sense. So
yeah.
one way or another, we're going to see The Godfather and talk about The Godfather, and maybe if we can make it work on our end logistically, we will also talk about The Godfather.
I would like to
Part
try to do that. We'll see what
Yeah.
we can do.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
That's dope. I'm excited.
Cool.
Sweet. Well,
Good.
that's going to do it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, folks. Tune in next time.
Go see a movie.
Indeed. Fuck off.